Hello everyone, thanks for joining the tour today, and we're going to be taking a look at the newly renovated bungalows, or otherwise now known as the cottages, which we've gone through about half of them so far, and we're looking at cottages number 4 and 8 at this time. And this is just a view of the balcony. We changed the entrance from being in the middle, and so if you are familiar with the property, there used to be an entrance for 2 rooms in one of these bungalow housing structures, and now each bungalow, each room has their own entrance to the side and a little bit more privacy as well, because we split the balcony. So you don't necessarily have to talk to the neighbor if you don't want to, but you can of course go around if you would like. And moving into the room itself, these are brand new beds and frames and new design with the throw pillows and the standard pillows in the back there. And then you can also see the kitchenette unit that we renovated, and we'll get to in a second. Also, we added a working desk with a charging station, so you have USB and also Type-C there as well, right below the television. And that's for anybody who wants to get some work done, especially those work from home people. And this is a wider view of the room, and I just want to make note of the AC, because these used to be fan cooled rooms, and now we got rid of the louver windows, and so now it's completely sealed up, if you will, with, as far as the windows go, brand new windows. And also want to bring attention to the ceilings. So the ceilings used to be flat, and now we brought them up to an apex to give a little bit more room and make it feel a little bit more spacious, but still maintain the coziness. And also bringing some more attention to the far right corner of the kitchenette that we have, and we'll get to that in a second, and also the newly renovated bathroom. So we basically gutted this entire place. Even the floor tiles are brand new as well. And this is another angle of the bed, and just want to bring some attention to the LED bed frame, as well as the embedded nightstands and lamps, and another view of the kitchenette, I should say. And as you can see, it has basically all the utensils and tools that you might need to cook a meal. Included is a mini fridge there down on the left, and a hot plate, coffee maker, ice bucket, all the knives and utensils that you may need to feed a small family. Not necessarily Thanksgiving dinner, but you can definitely chef it up in there, especially if you're staying for an extended period of time. This might be a perfect type of accommodation for you. And that essentially is the kitchen. And now moving on to the bathroom. And as I mentioned before, like floor to ceiling, new floor tiles, new ceiling tiles. Got the LED frame around the mirror just to give a little bit more lights. We changed out the square louver windows for the ship window, I guess you can call it. And we got the rainfall shower head and the glass frame shower door. Even the towel holders, those are all new. And again, trying to bring together everything in the room, the kitchenette, and to complete the cottage experience, if you will. So very happy and proud of how this was done, and really wanted to give a modern look and feel to this new room category, the cottage. And so also with this wider angle, want to bring attention to the closet. So you got some drawer space there, and you got some hanging space as well, and your safe, of course, and the ironing board is on the other side in between the closet and the window there. And yeah, another angle of the room, and also want to bring attention to that long standing mirror there, so full frame mirror. And that essentially is the bungalow, and this is kind of our way of paying homage to my dad and where he started from with this hotel, Travelers Beach Resort. Started right with one bungalow and grew to the 60-room resort that Travelers Beach Resort is now. And my dad...
Jamaica finds itself on a transformative journey. The government has committed billions of dollars to infrastructure improvements over the next 5 years, including highways, bridges, hospitals, and water systems. But it's not just the government. Major private sector investments are flowing into the country like never before. Billions of US dollars are being poured into residential projects and commercial developments. The economic indicators are undeniable, showing a positive path for Jamaica's future. Now is the time to be a part of this growth. You don't want to miss out on the opportunities unfolding before your very eyes. Enter ThropX 2024, Jamaica's premier real estate and investment conference, taking place from November 17th to November 22nd in the Grill, Jamaica. ThropX is your portal to understanding the investment opportunities available throughout Jamaica. Learn from the experts driving Jamaica's economic success and uncover its potential for yourself. Whether you want to learn how to purchase property in Jamaica, network with top-tier practitioners, or explore what it's like to live and thrive here, ThropX is the place to be. Join a community of like-minded individuals and be part of a group of potential investors ready to grow with you. Join us at ThropX 2024, where all your questions about living, investing, and thriving in Jamaica will be answered. Secure your future, embrace the journey, and see you in the grill. Register now at thropx.com.
My name is Joanne Oates. I am the founder of the Smile a While Foundation. I have been an occupational therapist for the past 8 years, living and working in New York City. In 2021, I founded the Smile a While Foundation because I knew there was a great need in the Caribbean for therapists to work with special needs children. Being from a Jamaican background myself, I knew firsthand what the experiences are in Jamaica. I know there are a handful of occupational therapists in Jamaica, all located in Kingston, and the rest of rural Jamaica, children are going unserved. And it's not just occupational therapy, it's speech therapy, physical therapy, behavior therapy, all the adjunct therapies that children with special needs require that are readily available in places like the United States, the UK, Canada. But when we think back to island nations, these services are few and far between. So the Smile a While Foundation seeks to fill that gap by providing programming that brings therapists from abroad to work with children here, therapy students from abroad to complete their fieldwork placements here, as well as trying to build capacity with the professionals we already have on the ground in these islands by providing professional development workshops and introducing the latest techniques and interventions to the already practicing professionals here working with these certain populations. We could help to bring knowledge and just increase capacity of how we serve our children with special needs.
My name is Daniel Grizzle. I'm the managing director of Charella Inn, which is a family-owned and managed small 59-bedroom hotel situated right in the center of the famous Negril Beach. And I would like very much to invite you all to come and experience what life is like here in Charella Inn, to be part of our extended family. Several of the rooms are just open, overlooking the beautiful Caribbean Sea, and you have tall, waving coconut trees to welcome you and keep you cool on the beach. And you have a warm and interesting staff here ready to keep you comfortable, to make you feel at home, and to enjoy that you stay happy and peaceful.
I'm gonna tell you that I love you 100 times a day. You'll get tired of my voice, that's how much I'm gonna tell you that I'll miss you. I'll miss you if you go. Yes, I'm gonna let you know just how much I tell your mama, I tell your papa too. I'm gonna let everyone know about my love, so I really hope you love me too. Yeah, I really hope you love me too. tell you that I want you. I wanna let you know. Oh, you're the only one for me. No one else. I'm gonna shout it out. Yeah, up on the mountaintop. I'm gonna let everyone know about my love. So I really hope you love me too. Yeah, I really hope you love me too. Oh, there's something deep inside.
All right. We are live. Happy Sunday, everybody. Hope you all are doing well. You are having a great weekend so far. I know I am. It's been a very, very productive one. A all-out live stream weekend for me. We've been streaming every day since Friday. We had the first ThropX live stream Friday afternoon. Then we had the Throppers Think Tank Zoom call that we do monthly yesterday, Saturday. And now we have our usual Sunday live stream that we do every Sunday right here, usually right here from the Grill, Jamaica. And today's going to be a good one. I'm actually very, very excited for it. It's a lot of it. I would say the topics that we're going to be discussing today are derivatives of the live streams that I've been doing the last couple of days. And a lot, of course, having to do with real estate, the economy, opportunities, and bringing some, I would say, pretty relevant news that's happening throughout Jamaica. And the idea really is to hopefully bring you some value and insight that you may not have been privy to, and also kind of work together and share information and knowledge so we can hopefully open people's eyes to different opportunities that do exist here in Jamaica that you may not have been aware of. Got a little short in the mic. I am getting some feedback in my headphones. I'm not sure if you're hearing it. Let me know. I'll change the mic out, but I'm hearing something in the headphones. We'll figure that out later. Hopefully. Anyway, as usual, please let me know where you're chiming in from, what city, what state, what country. Always love to hear it. I think it's a great way for us to connect. I'm actually wearing my map shirt here. It says easily distracted by maps, and it was given to me by one of you all subscribers, and I always appreciate the gifts that you all send me and you all give to me. I really am thankful for this, for those gifts, and for this community that we have here. So yeah, go ahead, throw in the comments where you're chiming in from, what city, what state. Oh, you also saw the I just saw your comment there, Donna, about the ThropX trailer. Sorry, getting really bad feedback. 1 second. I don't know. It's still there. Let me know if you guys are hearing it, but it is getting. I can push through. I just want to make sure that your experience here is decent. Oh yeah. So I was saying, yep, the trailer went up. We'll play it again a little bit later, which I'm very excited and happy for that we finally got that out. So we're going to be dropping that this week on YouTube and then also on Instagram as well. So I definitely want to hop right into it as quickly as possible because I feel like this one is going to be a long one. Even though I try to keep these things in the hour to 2 hours, it never goes that way. But let's get rolling. RN2CEO, happy Sunday all. Good to see you. Fab and Good Vibe says, hello everyone. Vinci for life. I love the topic today. Okay, good. We're going to get into it. We're going to get into a hard body. Donna Bryce says, happy Sunday, Throp and Throppers from Ottawa, Canada. Good to have you, Donna, as always. Maureen Brown, good afternoon, Throppers from sunny London. Awesome. Happy to hear it sunny over there. Mystical. Good afternoon from Brooklyn. Brooklyn in the house. Donna Bryce says, nice ThropX video. Thank you. Aaliyah says, good evening from sweltering London. Okay, we got confirmation on the weather over there for sure. Mr. Brown says, I'm very interested to hear your opinion on this topic because I haven't heard anyone speak on it. Yes, yes. I've been saying the same thing. I'm like, why isn't anybody talking about this? Like, other YouTubers, I wouldn't consider myself in the finance space, but in finance, real estate, I haven't heard anybody talk about this. And I'm just like, what's going on here? Why isn't this topic being brought to the forefront? So we're definitely going to get into it. We've been, like I said, since Friday, we've been on this subject, especially yesterday. Like we went really, really, really deep into the weeds on this subject. And it was definitely one of the motivating factors of kind of continuing this line of thinking, education, whatever you want to call it. And I think it's just it's fascinating, really, really fascinating. And I really want to hear from you all as well, and want to make this. I wish there was a way we could just bring people on and we can just talk about this live, like as opposed to like you all sending me comments and me just talking and reacting that way, because it's like going off of the discussion that we had yesterday and on the Zoom call, it is like very, very fascinating. And there is a lot of moving parts. And the great thing about the Throppers think tank is that it's just such a small group of people, but everybody's from everywhere, not everywhere, but many different places, and you get and many different backgrounds, professional backgrounds. And we were getting insights from people in different states throughout the United States that are in different industries, and in real estate, professional services, trucking. And you're seeing that the economic impact of even COVID is coming to rue, if you will, in certain industries, and it's affecting people in different ways. And so when we were comparing notes, we were like, oh, I had no idea that that was happening in trucking. Oh, I had no idea that that was happening in New York City. I had no idea that that was happening in Atlanta. And it was just like such interesting. Like I think all of us were just kind of, our eyes were a little bit more open, and it's just really speaks to the power of communication and sharing knowledge and information. And I would say, I know I'm just seeing like a couple of people here who are part of the Throppers think tank that didn't make the discussion yesterday. I'm gonna put up the the stream after this stream. I'm gonna put that up on Patreon, and you can rewatch. It's well worth the watch. We went almost 2 hours, and we really dove deep into a variety of different topics, and again, a variety of different industries. And so we're gonna continue to touch on that a little bit today. Let's keep rolling here. Norma Davis, good afternoon from NYC. Welcome to Throp University. I like that. I like that. Awesome. Good to see you, Norma. Good to see you. Nice to have you on. And thank you for being a channel member as well. Appreciate you all. Super appreciate my channel members and Patreon members. Let's keep rolling here. Jay Fitz, hi Throp and family, chiming in from Atlanta. Good to have you, Jay Fitz. Joe says good afternoon from Canada. Awesome. And hi Throp, great topic. Thank you. Diamond Press Cole, I think I'm saying that right. Greetings everyone from Colorado. Awesome. Jacqueline, Jay Quillen, Jacqueline, good afternoon from Florida. I don't know if you get that joke, but T chiming in from New York. Leon Wallace, good to have you. Chiming in from UK, London, 7 p.m. out there right now. Anik Dion says, hello, Throp from Montreal, Canada. Joe, good afternoon from Montreal, Canada as well. Awesome. And N says, tuning in from the Sunshine State with rain right now. Yeah, we've been getting rain like every day here in the afternoon. So, and also sporadic power cuts. So bear with me if that happens. I don't think it's raining right now, but it'll probably start in an hour or so, and it's like a torrential downpour. Like it's quick and fast, but it's intense, and power will go out. Eddie Weaver, what's going on, man? Thropping in from Dallas. Awesome. Good to have you, man. Okay, Elias says can't hear any feedback. Okay, that must be my headphones. It kind of went away now. Thank you. I appreciate that feedback. Mr. Brown says the Thropex in the tropics. Not sure if I understand that, but we hear. Hear me clearly. Thank you. Clive Thompson says, "Hey, Throb, shout out from London, UK. Friday's live was amazing. Thank you so much." Yeah, it was. That was really that was an inspiring, and the stream wasn't even really slated to go in that direction, but it did, and I'm happy that it did. And again, it continued the conversation. And I find these streams like very, very powerful, not only for us as a community, but also the just like for the information exchange more than anything else, and really like discussing these topics. And like I feel like everybody for the most part is coming in with an open mind, and for those that do have like a what would I say, like a thought pattern or a construct of thinking of a certain way, like them bringing that to the table and then it being challenged, and then we have a discussion on that, incredibly powerful. So that was very much Friday, and then also Saturday, which again we'll get into shortly. Brian Spencer says, "Big up, Throp. Good to see you, my man. Nice to have you on." Mr. Brown, big ups from Cayman. Awesome. Aaliyah says, "Very interesting topic. I'm not from the States, but deal with clients over there, and there's definitely a slowdown economically." Awesome. Thank you. I'm glad everybody's excited for this topic today. Corey is up Manchester. Awesome. Phil, Brad, Irie. Mr. Brown says Jamaica's economy is heavily dependent on tourism and remittances. So if the economic activities are deteriorating in the developed countries, then we will surely be affected. Absolutely. There's no doubt about that. Pat says hello from Amsterdam. Awesome. Love it over there. Love the topic today. Thank you. Nicole, Natalie, greetings, Throppers. Good to have you, Nicole. Paulette Nelson, good afternoon from Vancouver, Canada. AP. Okay, you get the Jay Quillen joke. Appreciate that. Ron. All right, good. We got some Key and Peele fans out there. Crystal Nicole says, "Good afternoon from Iowa. We'll be in Jamaica and at Travelers in 2 weeks." Awesome. Looking forward to welcome you, Crystal. Please be sure to say hello to me when you are here. Would love to meet you and say hi myself. Okay, so let's see. Let's bring up some articles here. Okay, so in going off of Friday, we started to touch on things that were happening in the U.S. real estate market, particularly some jobs numbers, particularly the Florida market, but talking about real estate numbers that came in based off of some June metrics. And then also we were having a discussion on how a very light discussion, like when I say light, like surface level discussion on how this could potentially affect the economy down here. And I always think, like, even with that, like, there's still, it's cycles, right? It's cycles that we go in, and whether you're in an up cycle or down cycle, there's always going to be opportunities. There's always going to be winners and losers, and in these cycles, in these different cycles. However, my goal here is, like, hopefully that we are a well-informed community and that we can make decisions based off of the information that we have available to us. And I try to do my best to bring boots on the ground information, but then also, again, like how we think of things and thinking outside the box, and also even thinking outside of the Jamaican economy and thinking about the global economy and how it could affect Jamaica in the future. And of course, we can't predict everything. We can't predict everything. But I remember somebody on the stream on Friday was saying, like, why do we always have something to, I'm paraphrasing here, but basically, why do we have to even take what's happening in America into account in Jamaica? Because, as somebody rightfully said, is that when Jamaica is heavily reliant on remittances and also tourism, and these are expenses, if you will, that are people who have disposable income. And if that disposable income is diminished in one way or another, whether it's because of job loss, because of interest rates, because you can't afford to pay your rent, you can't afford to pay your mortgage, it is without a doubt going to have a rippling effect and a downward effect here in Jamaica. Our focus certainly is specifically on the real estate side of things. That's where our discussions have been since Friday and then also yesterday. And again, I want to continue those discussions here on and also and I think this is important, is like getting insight from you all. And I'm gonna probably ask this question maybe two times, and I'm gonna save the comments if anybody cares to share. And what I kind of want to know, I do well, not kind of what I do want to know is, like, is there anybody out there who's on the stream right now and that is or has been thinking about purchasing real estate in Jamaica and recently has decided not to because of what's happening in the United States. So I'm going to ask this again. If you could just throw it in the comment sector, we're gonna save it and we're gonna come back to that comment. So I'm going to ask that a couple of times, and then we'll come back in the program and see if we can get a little bit understanding, if anybody's willing to share, if they have a situation where they have been thinking about purchasing property here in Jamaica. It could be for retirement. It could be for a second home, investment property to do Airbnb. But again, based on recent economic data that has been released in the United States, again, particularly focused on Florida, especially, that seems to be like the tip of the spear on a lot of these things, especially on the real estate side of things, that you are now reconsidering either not doing the investment or maybe saving it, doing a home purchase down the line. So I just like to be interested, and we can talk about that a little bit later. Another Going back to the conversation we had yesterday on the uh, on the Throppers think tank Zoom call. And I just see Jeff's comment here. We say in Canada, when the U.S. sneezes, Canada catches a bad cold, and that's absolutely the relationship with Jamaica. And we got to live in reality, kind of going back to that comment that was made on Friday about about bringing Jamaica and the U.S. in the same conversation, and as it relates to the effect of the economy. And that is the reality. We are heavily dependent on the US and its economy on multiple levels. I just gave you the example of I shouldn't even say, somebody else brought up the example of remittances and tourism. And again, those are expenses, if you will, that is reliant upon disposable income. And again, if that is diminished, that is no longer a priority. It's not like they have to go buy groceries or you have to pay your light bill or something like that. All of that stuff is going to be a priority before sending money down to the family who's going to spend down here in Jamaica, who's going to use that money to support the family here in Jamaica, or deciding to, somebody said it on a stream a couple of weeks ago, they decided to skip coming down to Jamaica. I think in September they were supposed to come down due to inflation. And to me, yeah, some people like, oh, that's just one person, but that one, we got to matriculate that out, and go beyond that one person. Like, I'm sure that one person is not the only person in that boat, but to me, it's important to think about that one person, because that's one person who is not gonna stay at a Travelers, let's say. They're not gonna go out and go down the street and buy jerk chicken, or take a taxi to go to Rick's Cafe, buy a beer there, take a taxi from the airport, the airline ticket, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We can extrapolate it out, and those dollars are no longer coming in. So these are, I think, important examples to take into consideration as we kind of assess where we are, and again, continue to be aware of like how interconnected economically and globally we are as a country, and continue to be aware of things that are happening in Jamaica as well. So let's I thought I had brought up this article. I must have been just in my own little world here. I guess I didn't. So let me bring this article up. If I did, let me know, but I feel like I somehow skipped this. I'm going to share my screen here. And we did our assessment of why this is, why we kind of came to a conclusion on the Throppers think tank yesterday. We're gonna get to I'm gonna get to the comments shortly after we go through this article. So don't think I'm ignoring you all at all. I'm gonna throw the article in the comment sector there, comment section there. Okay, so this is an article that was in the Gleaner on July 31st, 2024, and it was written by Neville Graham, it looks like. And the title of the article is Jam Teas Exiting Real Estate. And so there's a picture of John Mahfood, CEO of Jamaica Teas Limited. And the article says, slow sales of residents in the latest housing development done by the Jamaica Teas Group has left the company ruining the opportunity cost of tying up valuable funds in real estate when it could be making money otherwise. The company said over the past 9 months to June, it began the process of exiting its real estate activities. Of the 30 units in the Belvedere that came to market last December, Jamaica Teas has so far sold only 8, each priced within $28 to $30 million, the so-called sweet spot. So just so for context, $28 million is about 186,000 US dollars. $30 million is about 200,000 US dollars. Just so you can kind of get an understanding from a currency standpoint how much that is valued at. It seems like we're selling them at a rate of 1 per month. It is quite slow. All we're really doing is getting back our money that we put in. We're not making any money off of it, said CEO of Jamaican Teas Limited, John Mahfood. He expects the sales of another 3 units to be booked in the fourth quarter ending September. Revenue for the company was up by $57 million, or 8% from $715 million a year ago to $771 million. Jamaica Teas said $28 million of the increase reflected the absence of real estate revenues in the year ago period. For the third quarter ending June, group profit was down 52% from $179.56 million to $85.57 million. This primarily reflects the unusually high investment gains reported by QWI in the June 2023 quarter, which were not repeated this quarter, the company said. Jamaica Teas is mainly in the business of tea manufacturing, but the group is also into retail, grocery, holds stakes in 2 investment firms, and owns 3 companies that do real estate business, namely LTJ Managers Limited, H. Mahfood and Sons Limited, and H. Mahfood and Sons 2020 Limited. The latter 2 are property developers. Mahfood says he's not satisfied with the return on the investment when it comes to real estate, and that as a small developer, Jamaica Teas cannot achieve the same levels of efficiency as large operators since it does not own construction equipment. Small operators also have to rely on their own resources since commercial banks refuse to adequately finance projects, at times only giving about 50% of the funds required, Mahfood said. We tie up a lot of money into the project and have to wait 2 to 3 years to see anything, he said. The $800 million investment in Belvedere would have been better placed where were utilized for the acquisition of a manufacturing entity, he remarked. There will be opportunities that will come up to buy other manufacturing companies, and we want to have the cash available to take advantage of those opportunities, said Jam's Tea CEO. It would be better to use the funds to further our own business, in our case, tea manufacturing and other endeavors that are close to that and aligned our goal of more exports, he added. The company has sold a building at Harbor Street in Kingston and is looking for buyers for 2 other Harbor Street buildings, as well as other investment opportunities. Mahfood said the other 2 Harbor Street buildings have proved hard to move due to lack of parking. Interest in the property has only come from speculators, he said, but was adamant that Jam's Tea would not sell at bargain prices. Downtown Kingston is not yet being recognized as a good real estate investment. People are only interested in speculation because it's not ready for commercial entities unless you were to do something like warehousing. Mahfoud says Harbor Street and all the roads leading to it, as well as the area leading to up to Spanish Town Road and out to Windward Road, are wasted real estate, he asserted, adding that the Jamaican government needed to do more in terms of urban planning so that the building stock and spaces downtown can be properly utilized. Nobody can do commercial activity without parking. Until that goes into place, the people who buy property are really doing it for speculative purposes with the hope that it will pay off sometime in the future, he said. The other holdings are up for sale at one Red Hills Road and the other in Red Hills area of St. Andrew presently serve as rental properties, but were suited for development, Mahfoud said. The company is aiming to make progress on its sales of properties and exit of real estate in September quarter and finalize the relocation of the group's operations from Bell Road in Kingston to Temple Hall in St. Andrew. So with that, so initially, like when I read this article, right, and then as we're reading it together, right, you start, one of the things you're like, hey, is this a trend? Right? And you start, like, at least this is the way my brain goes. It's like, is this a one-off situation? Right? And let me see if I could find there. So like I like the one of the things I start asking myself is like, hey, is this like an isolated situation? You know, is this somehow they missed an opportunity and this was, they don't have a good marketing plan. You know, it was mismanaged. All these things. You know, you're trying to see where the accountability should lie. And hey, is this where the market is? You know, is this where the real estate market in Jamaica is? Developers are having a hard time selling real estate right now because of XYZ purposes. And I'm not sure, I'm not sure what the case is. You know, I would love to talk to Mr. Mahfoud and get more detail into this. I want to bring up the property itself. We were looking at it yesterday on the stream. And so this is what I believe. I believe this is it. And it's complete. You know, when I first read the article, I was like, hey, is this under construction? Is this pre-construction? But it seems like it's complete. And it says here, sales already commenced at our current project centrally located in Belvedere, Red Hills, which comprises of 18 one-bedroom units with 650 square feet of living space and 12 studio units at 600 square feet. Amenities include custom kitchen, solid surface countertops, all the usual bells and whistles. Don't necessarily need to get into it. And these are the pictures. You can see what it looks like here. Looks pretty nice. I would say your typical modern Kingston development. And please, if you guys have any feedback on what this looks like to you, what this means to you, and the pricing, like the article said, is it's in that sweet spot of 28 million to 30 million Jamaican dollars, right? And I don't know Kingston that well, but this is from going off of the discussion that we had yesterday on the Zoom call, this is a pretty good neighborhood. This is a pretty well-to-do neighborhood. And if anybody disagrees with that sentiment, please let me know. And they are they're not doing, according to Mr. Mahfoud they're not doing too well as far as sales, and they're not moving as quickly as they would like. And I would assume like this is like a nice area for people to live, to commute. I would also assume that this area would be and I don't know who their target clientele is, who they're going after, but it would probably somebody who's in the works in the corporate area and would be like a short commute for them to go down there. This is in I see you're asking what part. This is in Belvedere. It's on, I think it was Red Hills Road, if I'm not mistaken. Where is it? Yeah, I think I'm almost certain this is on Red Hills Road. Yeah. All right. Let me get into some of the feedback that you have here. Seema says maybe because they're one bedroom and studio apartments in the hills. So would you be expecting and looking for something more two bedroom, family oriented? Let me know what you think. Kwame, what's going on, man? Says Throp, long time. The thing with where this is bad roads and not near Kingston, it's located in the hills, so difficult to get to. Okay. Kwame says a friend of mine has a property up there and finding the same issue of selling it hard to get to. Gotcha, gotcha. Okay. Um, Dwayne, crime rate on the island is causing people to sell out and leave. I mean, maybe some people, but I think you'd be surprised at how many people are actually trying to do the opposite of get in, even despite the crime situation. And even if you're looking, and I'm not saying this is going to continue down this road, but if you're looking at the trends in crime, it is trending downward. It is trending downward. And like I said, I've said this on many streams before. I truly believe that the crime situation challenges that Jamaica has, like this is a short term thing. This is, and when I say short term, like 5 years. I shouldn't even put a time on it, but I don't think in 10, 20 years from now we're going to be having these same discussions. And you can look, and where I'm coming from, the evidence that gives me the confidence to say this is the amount of investment that the Jamaican government is putting into the JCF, into training, and then most especially technology. And I think where we're really going to see that generational shift is we once we start seeing a significant amount of resources being reallocated into education. I think that's where we're going to see the biggest generational shift. And it's going to take some time to get there, but I'm very confident that that is going to happen. But right now, I think the focus is on the immediate situation, which is, I always say, dealing with the adult criminals right now, and so we can continue to have a society, a respectable, dignified society. And then we want to, hate to say it this way, but what would I say, lessen the opportunity for our kids turning into future criminals, right? And to me, the way of doing that is focusing heavily, heavily, heavily on education. All right. XX, thank you so much for becoming a channel member. And again, thank you so much to all the other channel members that are out there. Kwame says, agree, Throp, crime is not an issue for many, especially for those returning. It is being reduced and the government has made it a priority. It's a long-term strategy. Agreed, agreed, agreed. And that's why I tell people, like, don't, when it comes to like making a decision to whether or not to invest here, whether or not to move here, don't allow these headlines to dissuade you, because there are so many people who are investing in Jamaica heavily, who are moving here, who are living a great, great, great life. I mean, especially like here in Negril, I can speak to personally, who are retiring here and they're calling Jamaica, they're calling Negril their home, and they're living fabulous, fabulous lives in spite of seeing the same exact headlines that you may see, we may see. And then you look over at the institutional investors that are literally, and hopefully we'll have time to get into this article, literally doing billion US dollar developments here. Again, they're seeing the same headlines, and companies, they're not going to gamble a billion US dollars on a place that they think is crime ridden, or they're not going to be safe for their clients and stuff like that. And when you look at other countries, very beautiful countries around the world that are politically unstable, they do have very, very high crime rates, and safety is of much greater concern. You're not seeing these companies go into those markets. And Jamaica, there is so many things positive that's happening to Jamaica. And these companies don't want, and they're thinking long term. Trust me, they're not necessarily going to invest in a, what would I say, a highly economically matured market, because the upside is going to be so much smaller. Now, if you start investing in a market that you have future confidence in at, I would say, some sort of baseline level of acceptance for your investing appetite, the upside is so much greater. And we can get into so many different examples, even like right here in the grill with certain real estate developments that happen here, where people, myself included, used to say, "Oh, it's so expensive. Why is it so much money?" And now those things that have gone up in value 40, 50, sometimes even close to 100% in like such a short period of time, because people are recognizing the opportunity and the ups and the future upside of things. Let's get back to some of these comments here. Thank you, Kwame. Tesha says, my assessment is that these properties are way overpriced, and that's why they're not moving. Depending where on Red Hills Road, you won't get top dollar. Red Hills is not uptown, if you get me. Okay, I'm not. I would take your word for it. I'm not sure. I am not too familiar with that area. The only thing I know on Red Hills Road is Price Mart. That's it. But I take your word for it. What's going on, Suzette? Nice to see you. Thanks for joining. Mark Wright says, more advertising is needed. My nephew is looking, can't find any units. Yeah, I haven't. This is the first time. Granted, it's a I would say a medium to small size development. This is the first time I'm hearing of this development, and it's not, obviously not in the best of lights, so to speak. It's more they're struggling to move the units. So marketing could be one of those areas where they are could have opportunity, right? Benjamin says, why does the U.S. states these advisories on Jamaica? I wonder, why do they seem bent on casting negative light on the islands? I think it may have to do with deportation numbers. Maybe. And I don't mean to crap on South Africa, but like I always bring this up with South Africa because I was just there like a month ago, and they are at a lower, based on the U.S. travel advisories, they are on a lower tier than Jamaica is, which I don't get. And it's legit dangerous there. It's so dangerous there. Everywhere I went, every hotel I stayed at, and we stayed in very, very good neighborhoods. The group that I was with, very nice hotels, all 5-star hotels, and they were like, "Nope, you can't go for a run. No, you can't. You gotta always watch your phone." And there was just this high likelihood, almost like a guarantee they were giving me, like you are gonna get robbed if you do this at this time. And I'm not saying that robberies and things of that nature don't happen in Jamaica, but it's just, you don't have to be afraid here in the grill. At least if you're walking on the beach and you have your headphones in and you have your phone in your hand, I mean, the likelihood of that happening, of somebody coming up and stealing your phone, I mean, whoever does that is gonna get found. Like, they would have to get on a plane and leave, because it doesn't make any sense for somebody to do something like that. And so, why, I won't go too much deeper into that. Why is South Africa considered safer to travel to than Jamaica? I mean, I have my theories, but it just doesn't make sense, and it makes you just not. Me personally, just makes you not take these things seriously, right? If it's not an equal an equal system that you can rely on, that is objective, that I feel is looking out for my safety, as opposed to being political reasons, I think it diminishes the value of even having that system in place in the first place. Sorrel Simpson says, the only place there is little or no crime is Dubai or Singapore. So are these people moving to these places to escape crime? The U.S. crime is ridden. The U.S. is crime ridden. The foreigners are seeing the good in Jamaica. Exactly. Copeland Russell says, I'm not hearing anything about Little Bay. Is the problem settled? What problem? I know. If you can expound on that problem. On Friday I also mentioned a property that was for sale there. somebody sent it to me. If you want more information, if anybody's interested, and we can and I went into it as an example on Friday. That is, I went into it really and get rid of this as an example for showing the exponential increase in home prices in Negril particularly, and that was one of the most stark examples that I could point to. And so anyway, we can talk more about that if you'd like and go deeper into it, but it's a 3-bedroom going for 1.3 million US at Little Bay. And we can get more into that if you want. Seema says the community is beautiful, very nice up there. Uh, Keisha says, "Can someone explain to me what is going to happen to the states that will affect Jamaica? I'm not understanding." I'll circle back on that in 1 second, Keisha. I'll break that down shortly. We talked about it just a little bit a second ago. Kwame says, I'm a prime example. I live in Kingston every single night. There's something happening, some event somewhere guaranteed. They're packed with patrons uptown or downtown. If there was a crime problem in Kingston, which has a reputation, nobody would be going out. They'd be locked up in their homes. Good point. Good point. And I love Kingston because they're, like you said, there's always something to do, and I feel perfectly safe out there. Just says, I watched a viral video of a live robbery in South Africa. The robbers were robbing the news reporter that was reporting on the crime. Crazy. Even the yeah, okay, it's kind of wild out there. Sukanya says, Strop, you grew up in Brooklyn. You remember how it was in Bed-Stuy, Red Hook, and downtown Brooklyn before they cleaned it up. Changes is coming to Jamaica. And I always give that as an example. I always give that as an example. It's just like, man, Brooklyn was so bad, man. And the potential was always there. All these different parts of Brooklyn that Sukanya just named. And now the worst parts of Brooklyn, or at least the worst parts of Brooklyn when I was growing up, are now the most sought after parts of Brooklyn. Like, I mean, you can't even come to the table with less than $1 million for the most part. I mean, it's insane. Dwayne says, just about to finish with a small 9 apartment unit in South Lamar, and I don't want long-term rental, but people are saying it's too far from Negril to do anything else. What are your views? Um, yeah, I mean, if you're trying to do Airbnb, this is just my personal opinion, Dwayne. If you're trying to do Airbnb in Sav, that's a tough. I mean, I would think that market would be more so people that are doing business in Sav that are from outside of Jamaica, but to generally speaking, I don't think you're going to get a lot of tourists who are going to stay in Sav and then drive to Negril. If like Negril was like packed out and there was no hotels and no Airbnb that people could stay in, then people will be willing to travel, 45 minutes or something like that. But if I was doing anything in Sav, I would be more thinking long-term rental than anything else. That would probably be the sweet spot. And I know it's needed. I know it's needed. Owen said, if they see Jamaica in bad light, then they should stay away because Jamaica is not that bad. Agreed. Janice said the U.S. travel advisory report on Jamaica is destabilization tactic. It seems like it. It really does. Eddie says, I'm not looking to purchase real estate on the southern coast of Jamaica. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still looking to purchase real estate on the southern coast of Jamaica. Yeah, we hopped into that. I think that's a great place to buy. And one day I'm definitely gonna. I was actually talking, I guess, about it yesterday, not on the live stream. I mean, one day I'm definitely gonna own something there. I love that part of the island. Anik Dion says, I spent a significant amount of time in Jamaica over the past 14 years. I've never felt unsafe. I'm not naive. Crime exists. There are more American cities/states that are way more unsafe. Definitely. I know the feeling. I'm very familiar on both sides of that equation. Charles says Jamaica is a small island, so bad news travels fast and it seems bigger than it is. And Red Stripe says, smash that like button. Please listen to Red Stripe. What's going on, Destiny? Good to have you. So Keisha's asking about the how is what's going on in the United States can affect Jamaica, right? So as we just read this article on about Jamaica teas, right? And kind of trying to make an assessment. Hey, is this something? Is this a wave? Is this a start of something? Is this an isolated situation? Are other developers having the same struggles of selling their properties? Are developments that are in pre-construction, what are their pre-construction sales looking like? Is that being diminished? And I don't have a conclusion for you. I don't. These are just, I would say right now, I would consider them to be rhetorical rhetorical questions right now that is more of like, hey, let's get our minds working, let's get our brains working, and try to think outside the box a little bit on these things. So to your question, Keisha, we were talking about it earlier, and the effect, and let's just pull back a little bit, right? And not necessarily focus on specifically real estate, but just focus on the relationship, the general relationship that the US has with Jamaica, or really Jamaica has with the US. And the two highest industries, if you will, of income that Jamaica has is remittances coming into the island from all over the world, and mostly the United States. And then also second to that is tourism. So I say that to say we're not producing. We have manufacturing here in Jamaica, but not to the level that is driving the economy, right? So we're not like known for selling widgets or even exporting bananas, sugar, or whatever it is, and like that is what's driving our economy. Like we're creating something and we're selling it. That's not what it is. What is really pushing the economy, or I would say not the only thing, but a big part of what's pushing the economy is Jamaicans who are living abroad, uh, going to school, climbing the corporate ladder, maybe starting a business, making money, sending it back to Jamaica. And we all are part of that in some way, shape, or form. And receiving are the ones who are sending, and that is kind of how things work here economically. So a lot of money is being sent back to Jamaica and sent back to Jamaican families. And now let's think about it. The Jamaican families who are here, who are receiving actual funds, or maybe they're receiving a barrel or a shipment of goods to help get through the month, get through the quarter, the year, whatever it is. Now they are somewhat become dependent and maybe a little bit more stable based on those resources that are coming in, that if otherwise they didn't have, maybe that it would be very hard for them to survive and to live. And with that money coming in, now they're able to take that money and to spend that money in the Jamaican economy, right? And so you're a family here, you sent your son, your daughter, or maybe your parents are sending money back from the United States here, and you're taking that to pay rent, you're taking that to buy groceries, go to school, go to work, whatever have you, to supplement your work income. And you're also taking that money and you're spending that in your community. You're spending that with taxi drivers, grocery store, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? And then let's go to the second biggest income for Jamaica, which is tourism. So now tourism is a variety of different types of people, right? And that would also include a big part of the Jamaican diaspora. Like even here now with travelers, we have a big group that's doing a family reunion. So you have Jamaicans who are living abroad, who are coming back and reconnecting with their family and doing a reunion here, and buying their airline ticket, their airport transportation. They're staying at places here like Travelers or Charella or an all-inclusive. And they're, again, spending money in the economy, like all different types of ways, supporting all different industries throughout the economy. And again, let's think about where they're getting that money from. They're getting that money from the United States, right? They're getting that from US companies. They're getting that from being a realtor in Atlanta, or maybe they're working for Google and they're getting this income to be able to spend that money. And like we're just following the money and how it comes to and into Jamaica. And now going to that source, which is that US money that is coming in through the individual, through their career, or their entrepreneurship, whatever it is. Now imagine at that source that something is disrupting that source, something of maybe they get fired or laid off from their job, right? And so now they are unable, or it doesn't make financial sense for them to come down for a family reunion because they are on severance pay because Google laid them off. I'm not saying that this happened, but to say Google laid them off and they no longer have their job in their job market now trying to look around, and unemployment is going up. And like, let's extrapolate that out. When you hear these big numbers, and like when I say big numbers, like macroeconomic numbers, and they're talking about like jobs reports, unemployment, when they're talking about, we'll get into the housing, but like maybe even say like the housing inventory being increased, but also not being able to sell houses. And so the two things that I mentioned to you about the income coming into Jamaica, those are in the buckets of disposable income, right? And Jamaicans who are in the diaspora who are sending money down here, they're able to do that because they have extra money, let's say. But if for whatever reason they are unable to pay their mortgage at home or their credit card at home in the United States, that money is being sent down to Jamaica is going to be a little bit smaller or maybe not exist at all because they also too may be put into a survival mode, right? And same thing goes with vacation, and taking a vacation and flying, getting on a plane and coming to Jamaica. Like, it's a privilege. It really, really is a privilege. And not everybody can do that. And if they don't have the disposable income to do that, like that vacation is going to be put off a year. They don't have to do it. It's not a need. It's not a necessity. And especially like if you are losing your job or, let's slowly start to get into the real estate aspect of it. Right. And so here on the channel, we talk a lot about the opportunities that exist in Jamaica, and they do. We're going to actually get into one shortly. I'll just tease it a little bit. The group that came to Thropex last year that bought Coral Seas on the West End here, they just bought the hotel next door to them, and so that's continuing to roll out. We're going to get into that in a second. Don't worry, we're gonna hop on it. We're going to talk all about it, but now let's take an example of, we'll continue to call them mom and pop investors, right? So you got your mom and pop investors who, for the most part, I would put us in that category where we want to buy, say, a unit in Jamaica and rent it out to do Airbnb. And then when we come down in the summer, we have a place to stay, right? And we have, and we're now officially investors. We have our home in the States or Canada or Europe or UK, wherever it is. And then we have our investment property or maybe properties in Jamaica. We're not institutional investors. We're not part of a real estate investment trust, or we are not a real estate investment trust where we're collecting public funds and we're going to invest in this property and that property, et cetera, et cetera. So now we bought into a development and we're doing our Airbnb. We went to one of these great financial institutions down here in Jamaica, VM Group, JN, Scotia, whoever, NTB, you name whatever. And we took out our mortgage, and now we're in the States and things are starting to hit the fan, let's say, right? And now our monthly expenses unexpectedly started to go up, but our monthly income isn't going up. And now we got to start making some financial decisions on how we allocate the limited resources that we have to pay these bills off. And the bills also include the bills that are in front of our face in the United States. Sorry, I keep using the United States, but I'm just going to use that as an example so we're all on the same page. And we don't want to affect our credit. And somebody who was on the call yesterday at the Throppers Think Tanker Zoom call, they have a property here in Jamaica, and they have a Jamaican mortgage. And they were like, yeah, of course, if something were to happen financially and they were unable, and they had to make a decision to pay the mortgage down here in Jamaica or pay off their credit card bill that's going to affect their long-term credit in the United States, the mortgage is going to come second. The mortgage in Jamaica, that is, it's going to come second. So that's just one individual personal example, right? And it's important to extrapolate that out into larger numbers. And I'm not saying that that is happening, and that person wasn't saying that that's happening to them, but that's the type of thinking and decision making tree that they're going through, and they're going to make that decision in the best interest of them and their families and their financial future. And I'm sure the same would go for the next person, right? Next to them, they're going to protect the golden goose, which is that of their income in the United States, their credit score in the United States, because that is going to have a long-term financial domino effect on their individual situation. And so this is the way that, and I hope you're following with me, Keisha, on, and anybody else who's on this example, like seeing how one thing affects the other and how that is potentially could affect Jamaica. And as Jeff was saying, that, you know, America sneezes, Jamaica catches a cold, and using that analogy, like that's what happens, and that's how it happens. And so going back to the example of making the decision to pay off the most important things, it's just like, now let's start looking at these macroeconomic numbers that we're analyzing and looking at, right? And they're looking at America and looking how at like some of these numbers that are coming out. People are going to be, I would say, lack of a better term, they're going to be scared, right? And confidence in the economy is one of the biggest decision makers, right? And if you're, regardless of what people are saying and what's happening around you, if you do not have confidence in the economy, you're not going to invest. You're going to hold back. You're going to be less aggressive to spend your money because you think something is going to happen, or you're not confident that you're going to continue to be on this trajectory, or you're not confident that you're going to have your income in X amount of months down the line. And so these are the ways that how the economy in the US is and has affected the economy down here in Jamaica. Now, again, let's bring it back specifically to real estate. And it goes back to this example of having mortgages down here, right? And it's also important to, and this is the question that I was asking yesterday. It's like, how do we get this information, right? So you look at the lending institutions that we have here in Jamaica, and I think they're great because it gives access to people globally, right? And the greatest thing, like, you don't have to be a Jamaican citizen to have access to the capital markets down here. You have to have a TRN, and you come down here. It's very much based on your almost anything that you're doing in finance is based on how much what your cash flow is on a monthly basis, and then you have access to taking out a mortgage here. And so my question would be like with these financial institutions is like, are they starting to see any sort of teetering, if you will? You know, are people having an issue paying off these mortgages? What percentage of the loans that they have made are of foreign investors, let's say, like people in the Jamaican diaspora who are living abroad and have mortgages here in Jamaica? What percentage is that? You know, how many people are actually living here, earning their income in Jamaica and using it to pay off those mortgages? And that would be, and I'm not saying they would even give me that information. It's just something that I would be curious about, because then you could kind of see how what is happening in the US could be affecting these financial institutions directly. Because, and I'm not saying that like the sky is falling in the United States, but there is some rockiness, right? There is some rockiness. And you got to think, again, with these macroeconomic numbers, that there is a certain percentage of people who are part of that category that fall somehow into the Jamaica economic system, that is part of the Jamaican diaspora who has invested in Jamaica. So I think these are important, just thought exercises that we should be doing, and to have an idea, so we don't. And the main thing is just like, don't get caught with your pants down and you're just like, oh, how did this happen? We didn't see this coming. And just be aware of this, right? And I think one of the most powerful things about speaking to people, like boots on the ground, as I mentioned in like the opening, of talking with people on the Zoom call yesterday, of being in different industries, you can get a feel of what's happening before these numbers are coming out. Like, and remember, whether it's job numbers, whether it's inventory numbers on housing, these are lag effects. These are lagged data, because that was a snippet of time in the past, and that's not telling you what's happening today, right now, in the economy. Those numbers are already old, but what you're getting, the real-time data, is talking to people who are living it every day and who are saying, this is what's happening. I'll give you a good example. Like on the call yesterday, there was somebody who's in real estate in Atlanta, and they were saying that there's a particular new developer that came to an area in Atlanta that was doing this development, and I forget the price. I think the price was coming in at, basically, the new developer was selling these houses at $40,000 cheaper than the existing developer was doing. And she was basically making the point that they are being forced to be more efficient as developers, and also being forced to come down on the prices. And so the housing developer who's selling it at a $40,000 premium, it's going to be so almost close to impossible to sell the house at a $40,000 premium, where an even newer housing development that essentially is the same thing, according to this real estate professional, and they're going to be $40,000 cheaper. Why would you pay that? Why would you pay $40,000 more? So it doesn't make sense. So, like, this sort of information, this sort of data is telling me is that what is happening on the ground, and that those prices are coming down. And so the $40,000 premium development, they're going to have to come down. And I don't know if they're going to be at a loss, but they're definitely going to be taking less profit if this new developer is coming in, and they're coming in at a more affordable rate. All right, let's get to some of the comments here. We've been going for a while. Copeland Russell says there were land disputes in Little Bay. Oh, Little Bay. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Sorry. I was talking about Little Bay Country Club, which is on Norman Manley Boulevard here in Negril. You're talking about Little Bay in like the Little London area. I'm sorry. I do not know whether or not that has been worked out. So Copeland is talking about, they're supposed to be doing this like multi-billion US dollar development in Little Bay, which is so beautiful here in Westmoreland. But there was some sort of there was a land dispute and titles and squatters, and this has been going on for a few years. I am not sure where exactly that is. So I'm not sure. I don't have anything to report on that. Noel Tully says, Throp, the West is jealous of Jamaica because a lot of tourists traveling to Jamaica, and lots of African in the United States starting to go into Jamaica. Could be. Miki says, good afternoon, Throp and Thoppers. Good to have you. Javon says, naturally, it makes sense to protect your credit and the U.S. And behavioral economics is something that, like, I definitely focus on, and it's very interesting. Yeah, the technical aspects of it is so important too, but studying human behavior as it relates to the economy and finances, I think that's also equally valuable to do both of those. D says credit goes up and down. Mortgage first to save, real estate over banks' opinion. He says, thank you so much for breaking this down for me. I truly appreciate that. The dynamic of real estate is so amazing. Ah, it really is. It really is. There's so many different moving factors, and it's just important, especially like if you're in real estate, particularly here in Jamaica, that you're not just focused on the Jamaican market because there's so much that's happening here and this globally that is, and things can change very very quickly. Very quickly. Joseph says, "One love, Madam President Harris, vote blue. We're not going back." Thank you for that, Joseph. Elias says, it's not failing yet. I think you're talking about the U.S. economy. Mr. Brown says, debt delinquencies rise. Jamaica Observer, Deshaun Hendricks, July 24th. If you can, Mr. Brown, if you can throw that in the comment section here, if you don't mind, I wouldn't mind reading that article. I wasn't aware of that. Mr. Brown says private treaties could lead to foreclosures and the banks won't keep those assets on their books forever. Deco2K says, what you say, Throp, is that once the rug is pulled from under the people, foot and banks in the U.S., Jamaica drop off, I think you were trying to say. But it should be that like that, why Jamaica needed diverse these portfolios. Mr. Brown says, interest rates remaining this high will keep affecting everyone, and even when the start cutting rates is going to slow down quickly. Just get some water here. Yeah, there's a lot to consider here. Lots and lots and lots to consider here. And even with especially with the rates, and they're supposed to be doing a rate cut next month, and everybody's curious like how much the rate cut is going to be and all those things. It's such an interesting time. I feel like we just never settle, right? It's just always something. Let's see here. We can keep coming back to this. This is going to continue to be the theme of today. One thing that I did want to bring up and we want to talk about is, I brought this up earlier, the sale of the Coral Seas. So we talked about this at length before. And I'm saying this because still things are still happening in Jamaica, and I think things are going to continue to happen. And people. So I think I skipped this comment. Somebody's asking me about why. Sorry, I missed it. But somebody asked me about why I want to invest in the South Coast. Sorry, one sec. It's going to help me transition into the next subject. I'm trying to find it. But yeah, somebody asked me why I want to invest in the South Coast and what why it appeals to me. And that's one of my favorite places to go to, and that's kind of where I always talk about it, Treasure Beach specifically. That's where I go to kind of get away. And it's, they call Negril the capital of casual, but it's even more laid back than Negril. So beautiful, super safe as well. And not that Negril is not safe, but I'm talking about it's a rural community kind of place where you don't lock your doors type thing. And that's just how Treasure Beach is. It's a very community. I believe they call that the home of community tourism. And so it's a super low density, quaint town. And I always say it's it's pretty much the villa capital of Jamaica, I would say. Am in my experience. And there are so many villas going up there like crazy. I did my dad's 80th birthday there. We stayed at Turtle Nest Villa. I'll show it to you. It's great. It's great. And they're not paying me to do this, but it's such a great little place. And this is kind of what you can expect there. So this is Turtle's Nest Villa. Sorry, it's taking a little while to load. But literally right on the beach. super, super beautiful. I love running on the beach. It's not like the best beach running there is, but it is very nice. If you want to, because and I say it's not the best beach running because there's also cliff. Like I love running on the beach barefoot, but you can't really do that there because there's a lot of like certain parts of it. There's like coral there, so you have to run with your sneakers on the beach. But this is a beautiful, beautiful. We could throw up the video there. Take a look. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful spot. And there's tons of these, just like villas, just like this. Some bigger, some smaller, some on the beach, some not on the beach. Pool, no pool, and it's just great. It's great. I believe, was it this villa? No, it's another villa. I stayed at a few villas here, but the prime minister stayed at one of these villas. I can't even remember the name of the one that I stayed at. Maybe it was this one. I can't believe because I can't remember. But there's so many of them just like this, and imagine this like all along the coast here, and you have privacy, you have your own chef there. They go grocery shopping for you. The girls are great there, like in terms of maintaining the place and everything like that. Just a great place to go and just chill, relax, read, and that's one of the main reasons why I like it there. Good food, good restaurants. And yeah, this is my jam, man. This is my jam for sure. Sorry, I got distracted. But yeah, I would love to own something like this out there, like a villa there. And they also have the Treasure Beach Triathlon there in late April, which is the longest running off-road triathlon in the entire world. And that's one of their claim to fames out there. I think it's still like a great place to invest in, a great place to live and spend extended periods of time. I wish I had the time to just kind of work out there for like a month or something like that. All right, let's keep going here. Javon says BOJ not dropping rates unless the feds to their rates. All right. Deco says, really and truly, what we need to do is invest in some heavy metal, gold, silver, and rare earth mineral. I mean, we got, we got the gas, we got the oil, which I have an article. We're gonna get into that in a second. I want to really go into that. We started talking about that on Friday, but I think another game-changing thing for Jamaica in a big way. We'll get to that in a second. Annex says, do developers in Jamaica have to sell a certain percentage of units prior to breaking ground on new build? In Montreal, we have to sell 50+% pre-sale. As far as I know, I don't think there's any sort of requirement that you have to sell beforehand, because even going to the Jams Tea example there, they didn't sell anywhere close to 50%, excuse me. They have 30 units and they said they were at about 8 and looking to sell 3 more by September. So they're well below that 50% threshold. But as far as I know, there's no requirement. What I would like to see, I don't know, like if you're, developers might hate me for this, but like if you are like doing, say, like 100+ units, or maybe we'll lower the threshold, like 75 and over units, like you have to dedicate 3% of your inventory, 5% of your inventory to low income housing. They started doing that in New York a lot, and I think that's awesome. I think that should be part of new development. As I would like to hope, we want to, as a developing economy and real estate, as we move, well, no, we're not really in a mature market, I would say, but as we hopefully move towards becoming a more mature real estate market, that we are really focused on the average Jamaican, and we really don't want to leave anybody behind or any group of people behind as Jamaica moves forward in this trajectory that it's on, right? And so I think a good way of doing that is to implementing metrics of that nature to make sure, like, hey, you're doing a 500 unit development that is going to cost people $200,000 to come in. All right, we're going to do 5% of that. We'll do 5 of those. we're going to do 50%. You're going to have to sell them for half price. And you get that in for low income housing. And then they also have access to just, I would say, some sort of priority lending, right? And where they either have some sort of grant that is given to them slash low interest loan. Because I'm not saying, I don't think we should be giving away free housing to anybody, at least if for a developer, that is. I think it's important that people have skin in the game, and that they feel that they are part of a community, and they feel that they are part of the greater economy, and that they are contributing as opposed to being given a handout. Yeah, we're giving them a chance, we're giving them an opportunity, but at the same time, they have skin in the game, and they are part of this thing in a real way. Clarity says, hello, Throbbing family. I'm here enjoying as always. Please give your opinion about the future of real estate agents and brokers in Jamaica. Seems like a loaded question. Clarity. Oh, and hit the like button, people. Sure. My opinion. Let's see. Where do I start with that? So generally speaking, just real estate in Jamaica, I think there continues to be a bright future. And I think it's important to be purposeful about how we manage this future and how we manage the opportunities that are before us. And I think I could say from my perspective, like never before, since I've moved here, I've been here 18 years, have I seen so many people interested in moving to Jamaica and moving back to Jamaica, specifically diasporans who are living abroad that are looking to retire here, and from all over. I was having a conversation with a guest yesterday. He's here with his family from the UK, and all of them want to move. And I feel like they're a family of 6 or something like that, kids and everything, and they all want to move back to Jamaica, and they all want to call Jamaica their home. And like I said, I've never seen it like this before, especially if you're looking at the first 5 or 10 years that I was here. And I think it's amazing. I think it's beautiful. And so with this uptick of interest in people living here for extended periods of time, they're all going to need places to live. They're all going to need homes to live in, and they're going to need the guidance and expertise by those who are living here and who are boots on the ground and have an understanding of the real estate market in Jamaica. And so for those folks that are, I would say, new realtors who are coming into the market, I think it's important to just really know your product, because I remember talking to the president of the Real Estate Association of Jamaica, and he was telling me, we did an interview, it's on my channel. He was telling me he has some 600 graduates of the real estate course, the real estate training course every year. I'm like, man, 600 agents for an island population of 3 million, 14 power shares. I'm like, man, that's a lot of agents. And I asked him, I was like, do you think the market is oversaturated with real estate agents? And he said, absolutely not, because there is so much opportunity out here. But you also have to think that that's a lot of people who are going to be licensed with real estate licenses and have the ability to legally sell real estate in Jamaica. And with that, I think as new realtors, you have to figure out what is going to be your unique selling proposition and what is going to differentiate you from one person to the next. And I know there's a lot of people, I would say even in the Thrive community, who are doing real estate in the United States or abroad and are looking to come to Jamaica to do the same, to be either an agent. And I know a lot of people are actually looking to become brokers and are trying to figure out what the path is to do that. And it's the same thing. It's like, you got to know your product. You got to know your town. I'll also say, and this will go both on the developer and sales side of things, is it's important to understand the landscape of the market that you could potentially be going into, right? And we know that, say, the North Coast, St. Anne, is like super, super hot right now. And it's been hot for the last couple of years. And Is that market oversaturated? I don't know. I can't really say that, but I know there is a high level of competition there. Same thing in Kingston. Like, the best of the best, so to speak, are going to be in Kingston, and you're going to be competing with a lot of people. You're going to be competing with your contemporary newbies, if you will, your rookies who are coming into the real estate market. But then you're also going to be competing with seasoned vets who've been doing this for the last 10, 20 years, that have built out their networks. They have a long client list, et cetera, et cetera. And so it's important to assess, again, whether you're a realtor going to be going into that, and if you're a developer and you're going to be going into those markets. And that I mentioned Spyglass 2 Sundays ago, and that is let me see if we could bring it up. That's another, we may not bring it up. If you want me to talk about it, we can go into it. That's another development that came up in Kingston. Beautiful, modern, done by, I think it was, I stand to be corrected, I think it was First Rock Financial who put that together. And as a developer, I was like, do you want to compete with that? You got all these new developments that are happening in Kingston. Again, like, the question is Kingston an oversaturated market? Is St. Anne an oversaturated market? I'm not sure. I don't know. But these are the things that I think is important for you to think about. Are there other markets and regions in Jamaica that are not being served, but with your skill set, your expertise, your experience, you can bring to the market what is missing, right? And I look at a situation like Negril, and Negril does not have adequate housing. And I wanna focus on particularly the, let's call it, middle income housing in Negril, or even average Jamaican in Negril, right? And I would say, and I'd be curious to hear what other hoteliers think about this. I would say 80% of hotel workers that work in Negril live outside of Negril. I actually think it's higher, but let's be conservative, right? And it's just like, all right, we got this bottom line number of 80% of these folks and these individuals who are living outside of Negril. Now, they go back to their communities in South, Little London, Lucy, Green Island, wherever, and they are spending the money that they're earning from Negril. And again, let's think about, where's the source of the money coming from in Negril. It's probably, a lot of it is coming from the United States, of people who are working there, paying for their airline ticket, coming to Jamaica, coming in Negril, and spending that money that they earned in the United States here in Jamaica. Like, so, like, we're following that money trail again, right? And so they take that money that they earn from working in the hotel, and they go back to their community in Green Island. They pay for their groceries there. They pay for their rent there. They socialize there. They're going to the local bar. They're going to the local dance place or whatever, and they're spending their money there. And I'm always saying, like, man, how can we figure out a way to get those 80% of the people who are working here but not living here? How can we bring some of that economics back to Negril? And I think that is a huge opportunity for any developers to come to Negril and to focus on that. And I know a lot of what we talk about on this channel is mainly luxury. It's mainly these new developments. When we talk about the Pinnacles, when we talk about the Sun Coast, when we talk about the Little Bays, we talked about Cascade, which is a 32-unit luxury development that's happening here on the beach road that is being done by Alex Issa. And we talked about, there's another one coming 2 doors down from Travelers that is on the beach that is doing luxury condos. We talk about Coral Seas being converted 30 rooms into luxury condos, right? Now, I think and I believe there is such a huge opportunity for focusing on worker housing. Huge. And whoever takes it, you're going to do very well. And then 2, you're going to get a lot of copycats. You're going to get tons and tons of copycats. But I think it's figuring out that balance of construction costs to monthly rental, right? And what you can get and what your return on investment is going to be. So long-winded answer. clarity on my advice to real estate agents and brokers in Jamaica, but that's kind of where my mind goes when you ask that question. Darnell, thank you so much for the donation. Really, really appreciate you, man. Always, always do. Darnell says, not sure if you mentioned this already, but the USA put another travel advisory on the 25th. Could you speak on any of this from your viewpoint, Throp? So thank you for bringing that up. I did talk about it a little bit earlier, but more so on the side from the perspective that it just doesn't make sense. The U.S. travel advisory, especially, again, I'm doing my comparison between Jamaica and South Africa being at a level 2 and Jamaica being at a level 3, and South Africa being far more just dangerous, not even far more, just a dangerous place, and been warned multiple times about it. The travel advisory that was put on the 25th of July was really, it was softening the language of the existing travel advisory. So, we were like at a 3.5, now we're at a 3.0 sort of thing. So, I mean, not numerically, that's not the case. I'm just kind of giving an analogy. But that's what the travel advisory is about. It was softening the language, but of course, many of these not so well bloggers and travel writers, they put it in the perspective of that. Oh, Jamaica has a new travel advisor. Oh, Jamaica has been put at a level 3. No, we've been at a level 3, but they've softened the language, and I feel like it almost did more harm than good than kind of putting this language out there. But maybe from a political standpoint and corporate travel standpoint, people are these entities, maybe I should say, are looking at it like a little bit differently. And I don't know. So that's kind of where what happened with that travel advisory, I'd say. It says if you pull the link up, the things they're saying are wild. Yeah. I mean, it was supposed to be helping us, but like I said, I don't think it did. I really don't think it did. Let's keep, I missed a bunch of comments here. Let me go back up. And then says, "Wow, Turtle Nest is beautiful. It really is. It really is." Kwame says, "True. The South Coast is serene, very tranquil. Black River and surrounding areas, including Treasure Beach, is really laid back and getaway location." Bunty, what's going on? My aunts and uncles used to tell me how safe it used to be in the 60s and 70s when you used to leave the door open and would wake up in the morning and find someone cooking you breakfast. That sounds like a dream. Dale says, "Greetings from Tampa. I invested years ago in the Drax Hole area and frequently visit the island. What are your thoughts with these issues with a number of these high-priced communities?" So I don't know that area that well as far as like the prices, but one thing I will say is just based on just paying attention to US real estate market lately, and there was a metric or ratio that people are paying attention to as it relates to the value of homes and coming up with a conclusion whether or not a home or an area in general is overvalued. And that is the ratio of the price of the home to the affordability of the average income of the area. And obviously in Jamaica, like that's completely blown out of proportion. But the caveat with that is that the majority of the people that these developments are catering to are people that don't live here. And so my question to that is there a way, and maybe these developments are doing this already, that they can they have like all this financial data on their clients, right? And even potential clients, right? Like how much they're earning yearly, monthly, and what is their average income based on what they're charging for their homes, right? So if say you have a development that you're selling, your average price for your home is 500,000 US dollars, and the average income of people that are either buying into and are inquiring about buying into your development is $200,000 a year. Um, so can do that math real quick. So you got $200,000 a year divided by 12. So you're making 16,000, let's call it 16,000 US dollars per month. And maybe you're able to take out, I should be using the spreadsheet here. Maybe one day we'll start doing these spreadsheets together. But anyway, you're able to take out a loan, and you have to pay, let's call it $2,500 a month. Do you think that's a reasonable amount of money to be paying on a monthly basis for a $500,000 home? Maybe let's do $3,000 a month. And anyway, that's your average price, your average income for that pool of investor, right? And so my question is is that affordable? Is that affordable for a person making $200,000 a year? Or, what if we lower that down? Like your average income for your average clientele is 150. And so maybe for your pool of clientele, that $500,000 price point becomes unaffordable. But it's difficult to even quantify using that methodology because it is a global market. Because if you're doing a development where your average home price is 500,000 US dollars, you're going to take people from Australia, you're going to take people from Europe, all over the United States that fall into different categories. So I am not familiar with the methodology in which they use to qualify people who are buying these homes, or even like what kind of metrics that they use to pool this data. But they have to be using something along those lines, because it all comes down to numbers. That's why I like real estate. Like, it all comes down to numbers at the end of the day. And do the numbers make sense? So I say all that to say, and using this analogy is like, yes, these are high priced. I would say high priced. These are high priced homes. Is it overpriced? It's without a doubt overpriced for the local economy, because the average local person cannot afford these places. Like, there's no question, no doubt about it. I'll bring up again, I don't know Drax Hall that well. I don't know that market that well, but I think we can use some scenarios that I am familiar with, are relate to markets that I'm familiar with, I should say. So you look at a Point Village here in Negril, right? It's northern part of Negril, little south of Little Bay Country Club. And I like to use my brother as an example. When he bought an apartment we're 2024 now, he bought his apartment all in, lawyers' fees, everything, 1 bedroom, closed $158,000, right? Now we fast forward to 2024. If you're going to buy a 1 bedroom at Point Village now, you're going to have to probably come to the table. I mean, I want to say $250,000, but I think you're probably closer to 300,000, because just last week, or maybe the week before, a small studio apartment went for, I think, 240,000 US dollars. And a lot of these buyers, these are cash buyers. They're not even going through the bank. And I was speaking to somebody at Point Village about that, and they were telling me the majority of people who are coming to the market as and coming into Point Village, at least, are coming in as cash buyers. They're not even going to the bank. So it's hard to say about these high priced communities, or if they're overpriced. I should say they're high priced. There's no doubt about it. Are they overpriced? I think is the real question, because that's when you start to see, like, potentially start to see a collapse in a housing market. Is that the average income of the surrounding area is far lower than the average cost of the house, right? And that equation does need to be balanced. Is that, can the people who live in the community afford to pay rent, afford to buy a home? And it's either the income of the average person living there, is going to go up, or those prices and rentals are going to have to come down. So And I think it's different, and that's why I was saying before, like, of, like, there being a focus, and I using the grill as an example of there's such a great opportunity of more affordable housing. And when I say affordable housing, I'm not talking about, like, Section 8. I'm talking about the average Jamaican being able to afford, like, the average worker who's, like, working at a hotel, being able to afford to rent a place in the grill, right? And I think there's great opportunity for that. I think of even maybe it's not even the average worker. Maybe it's a young person who's graduating from UE and wants to move to Negril, but it's so freaking expensive. And the reason why it's so freaking expensive is that we don't have any inventory. You don't have a lot of places that you can live in Negril that young people can come to. So when you do find a place, you're going to be paying a premium, and it comes down to supply and demand. So I can say that specifically for Negril. Again, I brought this up. It might have been Saturday or Friday. It's all blending together to me right now. But if you're looking to buy, like, if a newly construct, you're looking to buy a turnkey solution in Negril, and you're coming here right now, and you have your money, you have $200,000-$300,000 ready to go, US dollars ready to go, and you want to just next month, you in the next month or two, you want to be able to just move in. You're not trying to buy land, you're not trying to build, but you want something decent, and you want something that is ready to go. You got basically two places to go to. You got Okay, we'll say three. You got three places to go to. You got Little Bay Country. Let me bring up the maps as I got my map shirt on here. You got three options. You got Little Bay Country Club, which I talked to you about earlier. And this is not, you're going to have to buy from somebody who's going to sell. And it's 1.3 million for 3-bedroom. I just got this text last week. 1.3 million for a 3-bedroom. And it's here. Little Bay is nice. It's somewhat new, one of the newer constructed developments that we have here in Negril, northern part of Negril. Boom, you got that. Then you got Point Village, which is here. Then this is not new construction. This is old construction. I don't know how long it's been there. It's on the beach, northern part of Negril. Both these areas are pretty quiet, and you'll be lucky if you're able to find somebody that's selling something there. It's and things aren't moving like crazy because people know once they get in here, they're not going to want to sell. Like, it's a gem. Like, both of these places, like, they're gems because there's nowhere else that you can buy in this area that's like this. So that's your second choice. Like, and then again, if you can find something, then we move all the way downtown, which is the newest development, if you will, in Negril, which is the Aqueducts. And it's not my favorite place. I don't really. I'm not here recommending any of these. I would say, but this is a place that it's nice. Don't get me wrong. It's very nice. You can see what it looks like. Very, very well maintained. We went here, Thropex 2022, took a tour. Nice amenities, granite countertops, yada, yada, yada. Pool, as you can see here. I mean, these joints are going for, I think, 300 for a 2-bedroom. Very nice stuff. Let me see if we get some inside shots. And I like this place. I actually like how it looks inside and everything like that. I'm just personally not a fan of the location. That is the only thing. And this is non-beachfront, mind you. This is non-beachfront, and you're looking at like $300,000. And I was talking to one of the board members there. This is a while back, but they were also trying to get down the HOA fees, which is like one of the big turnoffs. I think it's like $200 and something dollars, maybe $300 something dollars for the monthly HOA fees, which is, that's kind of ridiculous, I think, especially for Jamaica and especially for a small property like this. But those are your choices is what I'm trying to say. Like, you don't have many choices. And so I say that to say it's like I believe the low inventory is, and especially the low inventory on new construction and new developments in the grill is what's dictating these these higher prices. But I'll even say when Little Bay Country Club came on to market, those things were like 200, 250, and now we're talking about 1.3 million dollars, and we're talking about, maybe 10 years about that has gone up, which is crazy. I think that the value to go up so much in such a relatively short period of time. All right, let's keep going here. Thanks, Dale. I hope I helped you out a little bit there. I know I was all over the place. Let's keep going here. Damn, I lost my spot. Maxine Henriquez says high-paying jobs are disappearing in the U.S. Can't afford anything now. Lisa King says hi, Throp and Thropper, chiming in from sunny Connecticut. Good to have you. Oh, wow, a lot of comments here. Billy Yardy Vibes, thank you so much for the donation. Really, really appreciate it. They say Drax Hall is located between Ochi and St. Anne. St. Anne's Bay. Traffic is also bad there. I just came back. Would love to buy something there. Expensive. Yeah, that's what everybody keeps saying, how expensive it is there. But yeah, that's like, even talking to realtors, like they're like between there and Montego Bay are like the hottest spots real estate wise in Jamaica right now. Chris, Long Island in the building. Good to see you. All right, I know I missed a bunch of comments here. Sorry, scrolling up. Soccer says, hello, everyone. Hope all is well. Kwame, it is up and coming. The first Black River Film Festival was there recently. An international guest, as well as actors from Game of Thrones and One Love attended. Awesome. We're talking about when we were talking about Treasure Beach earlier and the South Coast. Noel says, Thrive Jamaica need to become an industrialized nation and not depend only on tourism. Absolutely. We're going to get into this oil article in a second. We're going to take a break in a little bit. Kurt McKenzie says, it's funny, U.S. putting out travel warnings when it's not safe for a former president. Shaking my head. Fair enough. Good point. Allison says, we're surprised to see withholding taxes being taken from my savings account in JA. Understand the passive income is taxable, but why would the bank withhold taxes on behalf of the government? I'm just used to seeing that on my statement. I'm not even sure the reason there. Sacker says, unless there are any regulations to make that a requirement, no developer is going to do that. The developer's goal is to make money and profit. That's talking about the suggestion I made of having a percentage of housing units being dedicated to low income individuals. Yeah, I agree. That would need to be a policy put in by the government, required put in by government. Yeah, no developer is going to do that on their own. Absolutely, I agree. Dave Kennedy says, yes, folks, hit the like button. Please do. Collison says taxable income in Jamaica is 1.7 million. I do not live in Jamaica, do not work in Jamaica, received interest income of less than the 1.7 exempt. So why? Have anyone else noticed such a withholding? I'm not sure. I can't speak to that. D. Lewis says they want developers to build and sell houses at a price point of $7 to $8 million. But my question to the panel was the numbers don't make sense. Material and labor alone will eat into that. Yes, we talked about that at DropX last year, and I think it was the contractor who said, who's basically saying, we put this up on my channel already. If you go to the construction panel, and they went super, super deep into this topic, but he was basically saying, if you are looking to build your dream home, it's like, don't wait. And also, if you can afford to buy all the material, especially, at least at the time, lumber was extremely expensive and it was continuing to rise. Is like buy as much as you can and put it up, because it's just going to continue to rise. And so, yeah, that's something definitely to take into consideration if you're going to be building your dream home. Is the is the cost of construction and especially construction material. Deco says, I think Jamaica going to have to build more homes because the whole US, Canada, UK diaspora are going to come back home now. Agreed. Callison says, very true. Nicole says, this is essential. Reinvesting, comprehensively planning, or revitalizing existing communities like Negril or downtown Montego Bay, adding housing for low income earners, schools, community centers, parks. There is a huge opportunity for lift up and support infrastructure, servicing housing, parks, street beautification, sidewalks, and boulevards for existing communities for local Jamaicans is key. Totally agree. Throp, I wholeheartedly agree. There aren't enough low-income housing, but the issue is multifaceted. I personally feel the government don't do enough to convince developers it's worth their while. Sakura says the U.S. is always putting an advisory out about everyone's country, however, never place any advisory on their own. Anytime one travels, you should always be careful and take precautionary measures. Nicole says in the short term, even collector roads, streets, beautification programs, sidewalks, and boulevards for existing communities are the foundation for any development coming to Jamaica. He says living wage is a problem in the world, period. U.S. needs to check themselves before passing judgment on other countries. D. Lewis says, I'm building a retirement home in St. Anne right now, and I'm over 100,000 on the first unit, and it's not even completed yet, so I can't fathom 7 to 8 million price point for a house. The numbers don't make sense. Yeah. I think we need to. I'm hearing like we need to continue the discussion down that road into getting an understanding. Maybe we need to have on another a contractor and maybe even a quantity surveyor. I know we have them coming to ThropX this year, but yeah, it would be good to get an idea of like what it really cost, and I think bringing some perspective and understanding from that viewpoint would really, really help us. I'm gonna make a mental note of that and see if we can get get somebody on the next stream, maybe on not this Friday, next Friday. Deco says, yeah, Throp, Treasure Beach, give me a Long Island, like certain part of Long Island, a certain part of East Hampton. Nicole says, are there community associations in each parish that meet with the planning authority or parish council to discuss their planning / development needs? A vital tool for Negril. Thropish chair. I don't know about that one. But yeah, here in Negril, we actually have a special, the only one in the entire, on the entire island. We have a special planning committee. It's called the Negril Green Island Local Planning Authority. Local Planning Authority. And if you're going to do any sort of development in Negril, you have to go through this planning authority. It's not like if you're in, say, St. Andrew, you'll go through the St. Andrew Municipal Council and that's it. No, you have to go through the Negril. We call it Nagalpa. You have to go through Nagalpa to get anything approved. And that was set up specifically to protect the ecosystem of Negril. So these big hotels that are coming here, you're doing a little house, you're doing an expansion, you have to go through Nagalpa and get approved. And then that gets passed on to NEPA, which is the National Environmental Planning Agency. And that's how that process works. Oh, sorry. You also go through the municipal council, then through NEPA. So you have to get through that first. So very unique process here in Negril, and I think it really helps to protect the environment, and it's an important body, and there's good reason why it's set up that way. Donna Bryce says, our corporate travelers who travel to Jamaica just roll their eyes at the U.S. travel advisories. Yeah, that's for sure. You can see it on the plane. Many have said many U.S. cities should have higher level travel advisories as compared to Jamaica. Agreed. Mr. Brown says, Throp, hope you can have a chat with companies like Freeform Factory Limited to highlight different construction methods that can be used for lower income housing or just to reduce construction costs. Actually, we are in touch with them for ThropX. We met them at the International Real Estate Conference, and they do insulated panel construction. Yep, I'm familiar with them. All right, let's see. Shauna, what's going on? Happy Sunday to you as well. Tisha, wherever you see cash buyers, they're mostly investors and not persons that plan to move and live full time. Yep, that is definitely the case. I'm talking about Point Village. Mr. Brown says a two-bedroom house in a gated community in St. Anne is pushing 250, 300. Locals can't afford that. Agreed, agreed. And yeah, I know a lot of again, a lot of the developments that we're talking about fall into this category and higher. But I think there should be a more of a push for more affordable housing. But like folks were saying up earlier, the math isn't mathing, right? And it has to make sense. And I think we need to get a contractor and a quantity surveyor on to really understand construction pricing now. So, and yeah, maybe it does come down to um increasing wages. And as I also think about rentals as well, I think that's an important part because to me, renting is the first stage that you got it. It's an important, very, very important part of the economy. Like everybody cannot be a home buyer, a homeowner at the same time. The rental market is a very important part of the economy. And I think it should be just I would assume like most of us have gone through at some point being a renter and maybe we're working towards becoming a homeowner or we are homeowners now, but we didn't just come into the market, come out of college and like, yep, I'm gonna buy my first home. I don't think that's the way it works for most people. You work towards that. And but while you're working towards that, you're contributing to the rental economy. But the rental economy, I think, is important to be affordable for the average working person. Darnell says it's cheaper to purchase land and build yourself. In this market, you will get more bang for your buck, especially if you're not a cash buyer. I agree with that. Totally agree with that. But I'd say, I think for a lot of people, it's like, do you have the capacity to take that on? Are you going to be able to be down here? There's like a lot of questions with that, a lot of questions with that. But without a doubt, you're going to get more bang for your buck. Clary was telling us, and I'm only saying this because I'm divulging this information because she openly talked about it with us on, I believe it was on Friday, that she bought a piece of land here in the grill, 10,000 square feet. I believe if you're still on, Carrie, just correct me if I have any of this wrong, but 10,000 square foot lot here, West End the Grill. You paid $60,000 for it, and you're going to be building your dream home there. And yes, she is going to save way more money and get way more for her investment than just going into development and just going with a turnkey solution, which also has its advantages, right? You're not going through this whole building phase, finding a team, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I agree, Darnell. Cher says, greetings. I'm from the eastern part of the country, St. Thomas. I have friends who have given up on my Paris years ago. However, many have changed their minds. They love the direction of the country. Awesome. I love to hear that. Aaliyah says, I think a lot of people are worried about leaving cash in the bank. So with so many failing or potentially failing, and therefore now people feel safer investing in property, preparing for a crash. Sakura says this causes inflation on the home prices. This happened in Florida and Texas when many people's homes in New York and California use the equity to buy in cash. That caused the prices to go up quickly, hence inflated home prices. How is Jamaica considered third world country with home prices like this? Yeah, fair enough. Good question. Good question. Yeah, it is crazy. I think people are having their own conversation here. Animation Horizons. How much does it cost to build a home in Jamaica in US dollars? Really depends. Depends on, are you buying, the cost of the land too, like where you're buying it. Are you going to be on the beach here in the grill, which is probably impossible? Are you going to be on the West End? Like I just gave you the example of Clary buying her property, 10,000 square foot, or her land for 10,000 square foot for 60,000 US. And then that's a question, I'd like to know like what the what the construction costs, what's the average per square feet. I think from, man, you can go to the construction video that I did. I think they were saying 57,000. No, that can't be. I was going to say, I think 150 US per square foot, they were saying, if I remember correctly. That would be crazy. Maybe. Don't listen to me. But that's I would want to know. I would want to figure that out myself. I could give you ballpark. My friend who's building his villa. I mean, his is not done. I mean, he may not want me to say this, so I'm not going to say it. But it really depends on your taste and what you're doing and how you're doing it. But it ain't no chump change. It's going to be probably a couple $100,000. I would say. I'm just generalizing here, but we're going to try and get somebody on here. Like I said, I think it would be great to have a contractor and a quantity surveyor to come on to talk in a little bit more detail about this. I'll try to get one in the next couple of weeks. I think it would be awesome to have them on. And we've had these people on individually. I think having them both on at the same time would bring like a lot of great value. Natalie Holmes says, still low key about the missed opportunity my cousin and I had to purchase at Point Village in 2005. I mean, you probably could have got one of those for like $20,000. And now you gotta, even to talk to anybody, you gotta bring $250,000 to the table. Crazy. Donna Bryce says, as lovely as Little Bay is, I think $1.3 million is a bit overpriced for a bedroom. It's a 3-bedroom town. Yeah, I personally 1.1, I ain't got it, but 2, yeah, no way. That's kind of crazy. But I honestly think somebody's gonna buy it. I really do. I will keep everybody abreast on it. We have the record here. As soon as I hear when it's sold, I'll let you know. I don't think that thing's gonna be on the market too long. I want to say too long. Like let's give it a couple months, and I'll keep everybody updated. Oh, let's keep going here. I think we're gonna take a quick break here. Yeah, let's take a quick break. I gotta get a snack or something, and we'll get into want to talk about the oil situation a little bit. We touched on it on Friday, but I want to go a little bit deeper and yeah, I don't know why nobody else is talking about this. Like, no, I'm not seeing anybody else talk about the oil situation. And like even in the Zoom call yesterday, I was like, man, am I gonna jinx this thing? I was like, I don't want to jinx it. All right, I'm gonna take let's go 10-minute. Let's see what video we're gonna put on here. Let's do the Christmas run. I haven't put that up in a while. All right, I think this is from last Christmas. You get the idea. At least you get to see some beach, right? All right, we'll be back in about 10 minutes. This is the restaurant deck. Early morning, it's about 7:15. We start breakfast at 7:30, another 15 minutes or so. Nice and calm and quiet Christmas morning. And that's the sun coming up over the mountains way back east. Kissing the property. This is looking towards downtown, then over to the west end. Still pretty early, not really anybody out here on the beach. It'll definitely pick up later. All right, Merry Christmas, everyone. Today we're gonna do a little tour, very short tour. Okay, so of course, starting here at Travelers, and we'll probably go up maybe 2 miles, maybe. We'll see. See where the legs take us. I'm not gonna run hard at all today. Did 17 miles yesterday, so definitely taking it relaxed today. But let's get started. Start my watch, and we're going. I realized very quickly that this is probably not going to be the best footage of me running on the beach in terms of the shakiness. Because if I turn my camera around, it's gonna get way more shaky. But I will stop and film where and when I can. All right, just ran up by Alfred's. It's maybe like half a mile from Travelers. Used to have a lot of live music. I still think they have live music here, but not what it once was. If those remember what it was like back in the day. But they also have like beach volleyball tournaments, or they used to at least. And I do believe that this is where they're going to be doing fireworks from on New Year's Eve. At least they used to, from that barge out there. All right, Alfred's, let's keep it moving. All right, we're still going here. We're about a mile and a quarter in, up by Margaritaville, and looks like we're gonna hit 2 miles, so I think we are. But hold on, I'll show you exactly where we are. We got Margaritaville, and Travelers is, where's Travelers? Somewhere over there. We'll figure it out. I think it's over there. We'll figure it out. We'll keep going up. Gonna keep it moving. All right, just hit the turnaround points. We are just at Beaches, at the end of Beaches. A little over 2 miles in. Feeling good. Still pretty cool out here. The sun is like not beaming at this point, so it's pretty nice. I think it's around 7:30. I can't check my watch right now, but let me give you an idea of where we are. 1 second. So that's heading back downtown. I don't think you can see Travelers because it's on the bend, but that's where we came from. This is the rest of the beach. So you got Hedonism, then Point Village right at that tip right there, and then of course Booby Cay Island. What else is left here? You basically have Long Bay, which is a public beach. That's where Reggae Marathon ends, so which is like kind of right tucked away over there. And then after that you have Azul, then you have Boardwalk, and there's one in between, but I forget the name of it. And then after Boardwalk is Sandals, and then right next to Sandals is, so that's Sandals right there, and then right next to Sandals is Hedonism, and that pretty much is the end of the beach, so to speak, at least on the northern end. And then you go into Bloody Bay, which is the other 2 miles that I always talk about, which is where the reuse are, and you can't really get over there right now. Or I think you have to be staying over there. I feel like you can get there somehow, but I don't know how, like publicly that is. But yeah, this is Beaches. This is what we were talking about on the last live stream I did on Wednesday about their new rooms that they have here. And this is gonna be beautiful because like look what you have to look at and wake up to every morning is the ocean. It's like right there all the time. Morning, yes. So yeah, it's gonna be a beautiful, beautiful view. I don't know which these are or what they are, but like, you know, it's Sandals. Obviously they're gonna do a marvelous world-class job with these things. Maybe we'll get a tour. You know, when it's all said and done, would love to do a tour and see what that view is like and what the rooms and everything are like. But oh wait, you can see, I guess that's like the rendition right there of what they're gonna look like. Let's go take a look real quick. Hope I'm not intruding or impeding, but I always get excited about this stuff, especially when it has to do with Negril and investing here. And like I've been saying, you know, they're obviously seeing a lot of potential and are very bullish on Jamaica and Negril, as am I. All right. A little bit of a rant, but let's get back home. All right, just stopped here at Couples, which is another very nice all-inclusive off the beach here. I believe it's adults only, but definitely called Couples. It's made for couples, right? And yeah, probably got a mile and a half to the end of the beach, which we're not running that way. We're actually going to be running back down this way. Got less than 20 minutes to go. I'm going to keep it moving, but this was nice lighting, so I figured I'd stop and share. Forgot that I did a leg workout last night too, after running those 17 miles in the morning. That's really why my legs are feeling a little wobbly. Just sharing where I'm at right now. So a lot of people ask me about where a good vegan place to go is, and this is where I send everybody. Rasta Aid. I've actually never eaten here, but everybody tells me it's really, really good. This is about half a mile up from Travelers, half a mile north from Travelers. A little more than half a mile, yeah. Slightly over half a mile. But cool spot. I'll get here some point and have some food and be able to personally recommend it at some point in time. But I hear great things, great reviews. Again, everybody I send here is very happy with it. Rasta Aid. All right, back to it. And that's all she wrote. Back to Travelers. We did 41 minutes together. 4.34 miles, 4.35 miles, I should say. 9:35 per mile pace. Contemplating. Hello everyone, thanks for joining the tour today, and we're going to be taking a look at the newly renovated bungalows, or otherwise now known as the cottages, which we've gone through about half of them so far, and we're looking at cottages number 4 and 8 at this time. And this is just a view of the balcony. We changed the entrance from being in the middle, and so if you are familiar with the property, there used to be an entrance for 2 rooms in one of these bungalow housing structures, and now each bungalow, each room has their own entrance to the side, and a little bit more privacy as well because we split the balconies. So you don't necessarily have to talk to the neighbor if you don't want to, but you can of course go around if you would like. And moving into the room itself, these are brand new beds and frames and new design with the throw pillows and the standard pillows in the back there. And then you can also see the kitchenette unit that we renovated, and we'll get to in a second. Also, we added a working desk with a charging station, so you have USB and also Type-C there as well, right below the television. And that's for anybody who wants to get some work done, especially those work from home people. And this is a wider view of the room, and I just want to make note of the AC, because these used to be fan cooled rooms, and now we got rid of the louver windows, and so now it's completely sealed up, if you will, with, as far as the windows go, brand new windows. And also want to bring attention to the ceilings. So the ceilings used to be flat, and now we brought them up to an apex to give a little bit more room and make it feel a little bit more spacious, but still maintain the coziness. And also bringing some more attention to the far right corner of the kitchenette that we have, and we'll get to that in a second, and also the newly renovated bathroom. So we basically gutted this entire place. Even the floor tiles are brand new as well. And this is another angle of the bed, and just want to bring some attention to the LED bed frame, as well as the embedded nightstands and lamps, and another view of the kitchenette, I should say. And as you can see, it has basically all the utensils and tools that you might need to cook a meal. Included is a mini fridge there down on the left, and a hot plate, coffee maker, ice bucket, all the knives and utensils that you may need to feed small family. Not necessarily Thanksgiving dinner, but you can definitely chef it up in there, especially if you're staying for an extended period of time. This might be a perfect type of accommodation for you. And that essentially is the kitchen. And now moving on to the bathroom. And as I mentioned before, like floor to ceiling, new floor tiles, new ceiling tiles. Got the LED frame around the mirror just to give a little bit more lights. We changed out the square louver windows for the ship window, I guess you can call it. And we got the rainfall shower head and the glass frame shower door. Even the towel holders, those are all new. And again, trying to bring together everything in the room, the kitchenette, and to complete the cottage experience, if you will. So very happy and proud of how this was done, and really wanted to give a modern look and feel to this new room category, the cottage. And so also with this wide angle, want to bring attention to the closet. So you got some drawer space there, and you got some hanging space as well, and your safe, of course, and the ironing board is on the other side in between the closet and the window there. And yeah, another angle of the room, and also want to bring attention to that long standing mirror there, so full frame mirror. And that essentially is the bungalow. And this is kind of our way of paying homage to my dad and where he started from with this hotel, Travelers Beach Resort. It started right with one bungalow and grew to the 60-room resort that Travelers Beach Resort is now. And my dad hasn't seen it as yet. Okay, we are back at it. And before we move on to the next topic, I was just looking at the prices at Aqueducts. And so, yeah, they're up there. This is, excuse me, $365,000 for a 3-bedroom, $320 for a 2-bedroom, $330 for a 2-bedroom. And so it's interesting, right? You got Aqueducts at this pricing, but then I just talked to you about a studio apartment at Point Village that's going for $240. And you obviously get way more space at the Aqueducts, but at Point Village, let me see if I can bring up the map here. So this is Aqueducts that we're just looking at right now. But Point Village, you're literally an apartment as opposed to a house, a home, but you're a studio at that, but you're on the beach. You're on a 14-acre property here. And it really comes down to what you're looking for, from an investment perspective. And we're looking at like Airbnb. More than likely, somebody who's coming to Jamaica to visit Jamaica for a week, 2 weeks, a month, whatever have you, they're probably going to want to stay here, right? They're probably going to want to stay on their own private beach and be able to walk the 7 mile or the 5 of the 7 miles down here, as opposed to being downtown Negril. But this also does have advantages, right? You have there's a walkability factor here. You can walk down to Value Master. You can walk to the pharmacy. You can walk to Scotiabank. You can walk to the taxi stand. Yeah, and then you can drive down to the beach. You can walk. You can literally walk to the beach. It's not even 10 minutes, I would say. So whereas with Point Village, there's a lot of walkability, I should say. Like Negril as a whole. Excuse me. I think Negril as a whole, like one of the biggest advantages that Negril has a community is its high level of walkability, being able to walk to many places. But there's no corner store here that you can go to. You're probably going to need to have a car here. You can walk to, this is because there's a lot of all-inclusives here on the northern part of the beach, but you can walk, what we call this, a quarter of a mile. You can walk down to Boardwalk Village, or you can walk down to go a little bit further. You can walk to Jam West. But not really set up, I would say, for people who are. Oh, sorry, they do have a gas station too. They have a gas station across the road. Petcom where are we? Um, right, sorry, what the heck? I'm all confused here. Petcom, yeah, here, Petcom gas station here. Yeah, you can go to the gas station if you want to. Sorry, here, if you want to get some stuff, some snacks and stuff like that. But it's not super close. So again, it comes down to, I would say, what you're looking for as an investor, or maybe what you're looking for your potential Airbnb clientele, right? Yeah, just kind of wanted to put a wrap that up there. All right, next thing I want to talk about is, which I thought was pretty cool. So is this Facebook post from Misty Memphis on her group. So I'm going to throw that up on the screen here. So Misty Memphis, she runs a very popular in the grill Facebook group called Capital of Casual. And if you're not in it, I mean, if you are interested at all in what's happening in the grill and want to keep up with things, it's a great place to get information. And it's also a great place to like socialize with people, meet people, do meetups. They're actually having their Capital of Casual. I think it's the 7th year anniversary in September. I'm not sure, but you can join the group and you can keep up with it. And so she posted yesterday. Excuse me. This post, he says, we'll have to sit. Sorry. Okay. My eyes, man. Well, I've had to sit on this one for a while, but finally have the okay to speak. So the investment group, expats and returning Jamaicans mostly, who bought Coral Seas on the West End and are turning it into condos. I think they're naming it the West, have now bought the property next door, the SOV. The plan is to knock the wall out and make it all one big property that will contain 67 or so condo units. This group is still not done, but their next move I have to keep to myself, or shall I say moves. It is going to be good to see some Black-owned businesses moving into Negril, and I am welcoming these new neighbors to West End and want them to know I am exceedingly proud. Huge shout out to Winthrop Wellington, whose ThropX investment conference started this Negril ball rolling. And so those that are unaware, I do this investment conference every year in November. And I don't want to go into the comments. That's why I have it up here. We're going to get into it in a second. I do this investment conference every year in November called ThropX. And last year, and part of the investment conference is we do 2 days of education, usually Monday and Tuesday. And then we do one day where we do this real estate tour. And last year we did a real estate tour, pouring torrential downpour. And we went to, I can show this to you now. We went to Coral Seas Cliffs. So here, we're here. This is downtown Negril. This is the roundabout, and then right here is a roundabout, and then we're going to West End. And we went to Coral Seas Cliffs, which is right here. Let's see if we can pull up any pictures. So there's Coral Seas Cliffs, and we visited there, and the folks who were there, who were on the tour, they were mostly strangers. The place was going for $3 million US, and they decided to get together, pool their money. I got to go in like half an hour, by the way. Like this, it's a hard out, half an hour. And they pool their money, and they decided to buy this place, 30 rooms, 26 investors, and they're converting it, as I mentioned, into luxury condominiums. And this all happened at my conference, which is so crazy. I honestly cannot believe it. And very, very, very proud of the moment. Very, very happy for all of these investors. And they're in the middle of construction right now. There are also people who are part of the investment group that are actually living there.
And I was so surprised in a good way, like how quickly they closed on this deal. We did, mind you, we did the conference in mid-November 2023. They closed in they basically closed in March of 2024. And I didn't get the okay until April. But essentially they closed they closed in March because that was my birthday. That's when I found out about it. They closed in March of 2024, and then we were able to talk about it in April. Excuse me. And even from then, I couldn't talk about this deal. They were telling me this, and for the last few months, I went there about 6 weeks ago and documented like their whole journey, and they told me the story about how everybody came together. And now, right next door, this is Coral Seas Cliffs, and this is the SOV Hotel right here. And so there was I think this is the wall. No, it's further south. Oh yeah, this is the wall right here. It was they're knocking this whole wall down here, and a piece of it had already been knocked down. And anyway, they're knocking the whole wall down, and then they're going to make this into one large property. And it's crazy. It happened at ThropX. And they're doing more. I can't talk about it, and I couldn't. I knew about this. I couldn't talk about this. They're doing more. They're really, really rolling, and I am so proud of this group and so happy for them that they're doing this, and they're doing it for Negril. They're doing it in Negril, and I want to get to some of these comments. I'm gonna take this opportunity to show you. And this is like the goal of ThropX, like this is like the whole, my biggest motivation is to the whole thing is just like, it's always been like Negril is this gem. It is this gem. It is this diamond in a rough. And it's just like, it's for the life of me, I didn't understand why people were not considering investing in Negril and why they weren't considering moving here. And I know we have our challenges. We know we're not in Montego Bay and Kingston and with a lot of things, but man, the potential is immense. And that was a huge motivation behind me doing ThropX. And we sold property, even the first ThropX. We sold property this ThropX as well, 2023, I should say. But it was usually like, a unit, we sold a unit at Point Village, for example, right? And it's usually something like that, as opposed to like doing a full-on commercial property. This is our first commercial property that we did, and there's obviously had been a domino effect. And they're coming back to ThropX this year, and they're doing the same thing, but they don't need and they're going to be looking for more partners. And I would encourage you, if anybody who is looking for assistance in a facilitator, if you will, and looking to obviously, of course, learn more about investing in Jamaican opportunities, but looking for a solid group to be a part of, this is a great opportunity. ThropX 2024 is a great opportunity for you to meet these people and individuals, and they're very open. You know what I mean? And the whole thing is, it's they're not gatekeeping, and just like I don't gatekeep. And I want it, especially for Jamaicans who are living abroad and who are part of the diaspora. It's just, to do something like this is just so amazing. And we want to create more opportunities to open up the eyes of people that these opportunities do exist. So I'm going to play the trailer real quick, and we'll come back.
Jamaica finds itself on a transformative journey. The government has committed billions of dollars to infrastructure improvements over the next 5 years, including highways, bridges, hospitals, and water systems. But it's not just the government. Major private sector investments are flowing into the country like never before. Billions of US dollars are being poured into residential projects and commercial developments. The economic indicators are undeniable, showing a positive path for Jamaica's future. Now is the time to be a part of this growth. You don't want to miss out on the opportunities unfolding before your very eyes. Enter ThropX 2024, Jamaica's premier real estate and investment conference, taking place from November 17th to November 22nd in Negril, Jamaica. ThropX is your portal to understanding the investment opportunities available throughout Jamaica. Learn from the experts driving Jamaica's economic success and uncover its potential for yourself. Whether you want to learn how to purchase property in Jamaica, network with top-tier practitioners, or explore what it's like to live and thrive here, ThropX is the place to be. Join a community of like-minded individuals and be part of a group of potential investors ready to grow with you. Join us at ThropX 2024, where all your questions about living, investing, and thriving in Jamaica will be answered. Secure your future, embrace the journey, and see you in Negril. Register now at thropx.com.
Yeah, that's the trailer that we're going to be releasing this week on Instagram and here on YouTube, and just trying to get the awareness out. So it's from November 17th to November 22nd. And there will also be virtual tickets. I keep forgetting to mention that. Shauna reminded me of that on Friday. And we will, if you can't make it in person, you can always join virtually. But the real estate the real estate tour will not be part of that. Unfortunately, we don't have the technology to do that. But Soccer says, I have a group of potential professionals between 5 to 10. I'm trying to convince to come to your conference. I would love for somebody to reach out to me to help coordinate our group. Thank you. Yep, I will. I see you previously sent an email. Yep, I will be more than happy to help you and group members do that. If we need to set up a Zoom call and want to ask me questions or whatever it is, we'll make it happen. We'll definitely make it happen. Soccer says, I hope you got paid something for that deal. Working something out because there's more to come. And they actually are going to be coming on. They've already reached out to me to be a sponsor for ThropX this year, so it's good, and I'm not here to, I'm not making hey, I'm pushing this so I can make money. It's like literally the goal is like I want more people to invest here and see the potential, and this is exactly the dream of it. So yeah, I bring this up just as like one, it's like showing like it can happen, and then some of the comments. Let's see if we can get. So this is SOV here. You could kind of see it a little bit bigger. Oops, a little bit bigger there. It was already a beautiful property. This used to be the Rockcliffe Hotel, and it got destroyed during Ivan, and it just never came back. This was Rockcliffe, because I remember back in the day, me and my dad, we were looking into it, but we thought it was too expensive, or at least we couldn't afford it, and we walked away from the deal, sort of thing. So a lot. I won't go through much of the comments, but a lot of it is like people inquiring about getting in and being part of the investment group and everything like that. And so the opportunity is there. I don't know if this particular, I don't know if you can get in on SOV. I'm not sure. I'm unsure. However, I know they're doing more and they're looking to do other things of this nature. I know of their Negril aspirations. Let's say that. I know of the Negril properties that they're looking at. I don't know outside of Negril, but you can come to ThropX, of course, and then join Capital of Casual. And she has, Misty, has a link there that you can fill out. I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere here on this thread. I would have put it out there, but you can go and search for yourself. Join Capital of Casual, go to this thread, and then search for the link, and you can fill out a Google form, and then you can see where it can go for you, and see if you can be a part of it, or if you have an opportunity to do other to be part of other investment opportunities that they have that I know that they have coming up. Just a few more comments here. Great, awesome. Throps will need to talk to you offline. Drop me a link, please. Thanks. Will do, Kwame. I'll hit you up right. I'll shoot you a note right after this. Layla says, "Are we able to recommend some speakers?" Yeah, please do. Please do. I meant to. Where's my iPad? I do want to tell you about some of the speakers that we have. So we're trying for some really cool speakers. I don't know if we're gonna get them, but we're in touch. I honestly can't say anything right now. I don't want to jinx anything, but we have some really, really cool speakers. And I feel like we've had great, phenomenal speakers. We've had really, really awesome speakers, and we're gonna have really awesome speakers again. We're doing the the construction panel again. Of course, we're gonna have a real estate panel. We're gonna have a real estate day. But we also have the new CEO, Leonard Francis of NEPA. He is one of the speakers who is coming in. I'm really, really excited for him. And we're having more government agencies come in. And I think that especially we have NEPA coming, sorry, not NEPA, NEPA, yes, but NGALPA. They've been coming every year and they've been supporting us with speakers in education. And it's so important that we have them here, especially a Negril-based real estate conference, because again, there is nowhere else in Jamaica you're going to have this experience of this government body, and it's again very unique to this area, and they speak to the requirements that are here that are so unique to this area and this environment. So they're coming again, and we're having the COJ, the Company's Office of Jamaica. Again, I think it's so important. I was having and I would be curious to hear your feedback on this. I was having a discussion with a gentleman who he has moved back here to Jamaica. He's in Kingston, a young man, and I think I'm older than him. I'm pretty sure. And he started his own architectural firm, and we just talking about like people moving back to Jamaica, and especially like young people. Let me just make my screen smaller here, bigger, sorry. And, moving back to Jamaica, generally speaking, and I totally agree with this, like generally speaking, moving back to Jamaica or moving to Jamaica, for the most part, you're not going to move here and to work for a company, right? So unless you're coming in like on a specialized case, right? If you're going to be, for example, Negril, maybe you're moving here, and you're going to be working for an all-inclusive hotel as a Spanish translator, right? But, to come here and maybe you'll work for PricewaterhouseCoopers. Is it PwC here? I feel like they're here, maybe in Kingston. Maybe you'll do that, but maybe you'll work in corporate Jamaica, but you're definitely going to be making less than you would for these corporate companies than you would in your home city or where you're coming from. And so what we were discussing and what he was saying is basically you're mostly going to come here and move here. You're probably going to do some sort of entrepreneurial venture. And he was just saying, he's like, that's where the opportunities really lie in Jamaica. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. If you think you're going to work, like come here and then like work for a company, work for like a corporate company, and that's your plan, it's probably not going to work, at least the way that you think it's going to work. And I think you're better off working for a company in the US as a digital nomad if you have the means to do that. And my point in even bringing that up is that the Company's Office of Jamaica is like really an important part of that, because you have to register your company, understand the rules and laws of Jamaica and doing business here. And then especially if you're going to be doing any sort of building, brick and mortar stuff, like you obviously need to go through the planning authorities, the local planning authorities. And so that's just one thing I feel like after that conversation yesterday, I feel like we need to talk a little bit more about. And I think most people know that, and maybe I'm just making a huge assumption here, but I feel like most people know that. But I know, like back in the day, like I used to meet people here, like, and it's usually Europeans, like they love Jamaica and they'll come and get like a waitressing job, right? And I'm just like, you're gonna struggle, you're gonna struggle based on what you're used to and that sort of thing. And I've seen many people try to make it work, but it's just not sustainable. But if you come with like an entrepreneurial, but not, and like we were discussing yesterday, not everybody has that about them. Not everybody is an entrepreneur. Not everybody has a business owner's mindset. But without question, there is so much opportunity if you can figure out how to navigate business here and navigate the bureaucracy. There is a way, not impossible, far from impossible, as a matter of fact. And there's tons and tons of opportunity there. We definitely got to do a pod specifically geared towards entrepreneurial opportunities in Jamaica. And I think going region by region is a good way of doing it. Layla says, how can you book at Travelers to get the rate? The website says you can't book on it for ThropX dates. Yeah, you're going to have to go through email. So if you email, we have a block already set out. And so if you email reservations at tbresorts.com, then you can get you can book the hotel. But we still do have rooms available for ThropX. So let me put that in the comment section here. And then you can also call. So I'm putting a US number down there. You can also call and speak to reservations. I will put the WhatsApp number there as well. Oh, I got like 10 minutes. I gotta go. Let me just put this number there for you. So this is the Travelers Beach Resort WhatsApp number, and you can use this number for any reservation inquiries at all. I always forget to mention it's 876-301. Sorry, can't read. 307-9130, and you can make your reservations there. So that's for ThropX related or anytime you come throughout the year. And please mention that you heard about it through the hotel. You heard about it through this channel. We get like a very small commission off of it, and it really does help out the channel. And just let them know you heard from it through the Throp channel and the market, and we get like a small commission off of that as well. So just keep that in mind when you are booking. Alayla says this can kind of be the InvestFest of Jamaica. Look up the InvestFest and you'll see it's held in Atlanta. I'm very familiar with InvestFest. I forget the name of the guys, but I'm familiar with them. I actually met them in Miami one time. They have no idea who I am, but I just said what up, and I appreciated the content that they create and what they're doing. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and I'm going to show this to my best friend because he's been saying that and using that analogy. Let me screenshot your comment. He'll appreciate that. Thank you, Layla. Sakura says, is there a need for in Jamaica for a psychologist? Would a practice work there or sticking to remote practice? So great question. We actually did a health panel last year. Oh my gosh, she's gonna kill me. I forget the name. Oh man. We had a psychologist on. Oh, I forget her name. But yes, to answer your question, there is a need. And I also think there is a need to push mental health and mental health awareness throughout Jamaica. I think it's one of those, I won't say low-hanging fruits, but it's one of those tools, if you will, that is not, and tools and avenues, if you will, that is not talked about enough and used enough. And we had a full panel dedicated to that. And we're gonna, speaking of which, I'm gonna try to post that this week and see if I can get my team to put that up on the YouTube channel. And it was a very interesting panel, and I think it can work. And she was saying it herself on the panel. Man, I can't believe I forgot her name. I think I've been talking for too long. Sorry, I'm just trying to look it up real quick. I hope she's not watching. All right, we're gonna have to circle back. Got too many doctors on my phone. Anyway, Alfonso says, "Throb, what's up? Do you remember when I told you I drove all the way to look at the property? I was all in, but my wife pulled back. I couldn't convince her. I knew the potential of this property. Yes, I do believe that. I went there and looked at 2 units. I was on the phone with Delano immediately after the investment podcast." Awesome. So Delano is the principal who put the Coral Seas deal together. And that's who Alfonso is referring to right there. Awesome. So happy to hear that. Good stuff. Like, we make moves on this channel. We make some real moves, real connections on this channel and in this community. I'm so happy to hear that. Norma Davis says, will we be able to do a mortgage application on business day, or is it just TRN and account opening? Good question. It's thank you, Shauna Dawn Petgrave. Thank you very much. That was a psychologist that was on stage. Excellent. She's like, we had her on the podcast before doing virtually. Like, she became one of my favorite people, like, immediately. Like, just her breakdown and just her energy and everything like that. Just like a really, really amazing person. So thank you. Sorry, Norma, hopping back to your question. Good question about starting the mortgage process. What we are going to do is we want you to come down as prepared as possible. And maybe I'll just do this on the live stream anyway, even for people who are not coming to ThropX, but really emphasizing the list of, and it's a list, trust me, of documents and information that you will need to to put in for your mortgage application. And it is quite extensive, and I want everybody to be very prepared. And I'm trying to, like, as I'm talking, I'm trying to think how we can do this. And maybe it's even, and don't think of this as any sort of commitment by any means. If I was, and then my idea was to have you talk to a mortgage officer before you get down here, so you can really help you start the process and you're able to bring these documents. And I know some people were surprised, particularly when they were opening brokerage accounts, at the information that they needed and all this stuff. So I don't want anybody coming down here with the intention of setting up these accounts and wanting to get a mortgage and open a business or whatever have you, TRN, and you get surprised. So I want everybody to be as prepared as possible. I'm going to screenshot that, Norma, and I'm going to see how we can make that happen and how it's going to be, how we're going to make that possible. I think that's a really good idea. Simone says, greeting everyone, EYL, that's right, Earn Your Leisure Invest Fest in Atlanta. That's what they're referring to, yes. Soccer says, great, I've been in the field for 28 years. I would love to watch that segment. Thank you. Yeah, we're going to put it up this week. I'm going to try and get that up this week. Ren says, a discussion on entrepreneurial opportunities will be very helpful. Yeah, okay, we're going to make that happen. Jeff says, what about a classic fine dining French restaurant talking about $100 per dinner? I think that will, like, as far as a business idea, I think that would do very well. I think that would do very well. And as long as the value is there in respect to service, quality of food, people are going to pay. I mean, that's not that big of a deal. And that could be with anything, but it's got to be up there, and especially with service, really, really making that a priority. I think that could do well. And that's one thing that we're missing in the grill is the diversity in food cuisine. We don't have a lot of that here. Anita says, I think the Jamaican government needs to address the elderly population, as whilst in Mobay, it's apparent that the age groups are neglected. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? What do you mean specifically? Anita goes on, we need more care in the community, which the local parish must be funded by the government. I'd like to hear what exactly you mean by that, or if anybody else can elaborate on what Anita's saying. Montel Jennings says, informative info. Thanks for sharing. I'm a member of 100 Black Men business organizations. Do you have a scheduled weekly podcast or business link? Yeah, every week. We do this every Sunday. And now we do this podcast. We have the Blanking a ThropX podcast on Fridays at 4 p.m. So you can join that if you'd like at 4 p.m. And we just kind of sit here and hang out for 3 hours. As you can see, this is pretty normal. Mark, what's going on? Mark says, greetings, Throp and Throppers, hailing from New York. Lots of opportunities in Jamaica that awaits the diaspora. Only we can make the changes. Jamaica land we love. Absolutely. Well said. And please listen to Natalie. Hit that like button. It really does help. And share this with anybody that you think would find value in it. I thought this was a really, really excellent discussion. Thanks to you all. And thank you all for the engagement. It's been really, really good and eye-opening. I'm always learning so much from you all and doing my best to pass on this knowledge and information to as many people as possible. Norma says, I'm still having issues with watching Thropex replay. The list is overwhelming. You're talking about the list for the mortgage qualification. Yeah, it's a lot. It can be a lot. Let me know, Norma. Just shoot me a message on Patreon, and if I have to email it to you directly, I will do that because I like yesterday's Throppers think tank. Oh, it was probably one of the best ones. Honestly, it was very, very open, like eye-opening. I think for a lot of us, and I really appreciate everybody's vulnerability on that call and opening up about their particular situations. Because, like I said, we got so much like direct insight into specific industries and specific regions around America and how the economy is affecting these regions, right? We talked about trucking. We talked about real estate in Atlanta. We talked about real estate in New York. And then also I forget what it's called, but let's call it PPE loans from the pandemic and how all of that is affecting the monthly cash outflow of individual and groups of people and how that is having a wider effect on the American economy. And then earlier we talked about the trickle down effect of the U.S. money that's coming into Jamaica, how it could potentially be slowed up. And maybe it's happening already. I don't know how we would get that information if there has been a downturn in remittances coming to Jamaica. Is it cyclical like tourism is? Like this is our slow season right now, so it's expected we're going to have less people coming to Jamaica. Is there a seasonality to remittances coming to Jamaica? And what is it? Are we along the normal lines throughout in the calendar year, or where we find ourselves in the calendar? And has things with the economic data coming out in the United States, are we seeing a slow up in remittances coming to Jamaica? I would be very, very interested in knowing what those numbers are like, because that will give us a real keen insight into kind of where we are right now as far as that stands. Okay, let's start wrapping up here. I'll play that going away bye-bye music because I really got to go in like 2 minutes. Donna Bryce says, covering what's needed to open a Jamaican bank account would be helpful on the live stream. It seems you need everything from birth to death certificate. Shaking my head. Yeah. Okay, I will do that. I think that will help a lot of people with ThropX. Maybe we'll do that with a ThropX stream. We'll have somebody from a banking institution come on, because it's generally the same stuff for institution to institution. Donna Bryce says, would love a restaurant tour video drop. Okay, we'll make that happen. Anita says, the elderly needs priority within the local communities. We need nursing home. I see what you're saying. Nursing, homes which will give employment to local people who can care for the vulnerable and the elderly. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I agree with that. This is the first time hearing of that being a kind of widespread issue. But thank you for bringing that to our attention there, Anita. Jala says, great live, Throp. Thank you all. This has been an awesome live. This was great. I feel like we also need to stay on top of this, right? And I've been saying I want to do more live streams. Maybe we can't do 3-hour live streams, but I feel like we're gonna have to throw in, even though I'm already doing 2, and this has been a crazy live stream weekend. And when I say crazy, we live stream Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it's awesome. But I think we need to, especially with what's happening in housing in the United States, man, maybe we need to throw in another one. But I think I will do another one this week, but it's going to be in the day. And I know a lot of people are working, so you might have to catch it on the replay. But I think we're probably going to do something maybe like 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe like something quick, hour, 45 minutes sort of thing, and bring to you like what's happening. Thank you, Shauna. I'm glad you like this shirt. I like this shirt a lot as well. This is my map shirt. I showed it off earlier. Easily distracted by maps, and we were in the maps today for sure. Norma says I really wanted to watch that, but unavailable on a Saturday. Oh, the Throckers think tank. Okay, good to know. But shoot me a message on Patreon, Norma, and I will get that off to you. I'm gonna post it later anyway. I haven't posted it yet yesterday's, but I'm gonna post it later. Maureen says great session as usual. Thought appreciate it. All right, we're gonna call it there. Thank you, everybody. Wishing you all a great week ahead. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. This was really awesome. Love doing this. And I will see you on the stream. We're gonna do some sort of midweek stream sometime this week. Have a great week, everybody. Peace.